Good evening, and welcome to KUMB TV. That's a good start, isn't it? Let's start that again. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to KUMB TV's Eyes Up Mother Brown for this evening's Premier League encounter. This is an absolute nightmare, isn't it? This is what happens when you're not set up properly. I should just get straight into it. West Ham, Sheffield United. Big game tonight. Hammer's looking to go fifth, potentially fourth, if Newcastle can do us a favour at Chelsea tonight. I'm joined this evening by the usual crew, by the Pink Palermo.
Evening all.
By Gnome.
Evening.
And by Rio.
Evening, everyone. Evening.
We're all here, rushed home. Everybody rushed home from work this evening for this early evening kickoff. The Hammers versus Sheffield United. The Hammers versus the Vultures. Boo! Our old friends. Let's get underway by bringing you team news from Gnome, the freshly shaven Gnome. I should point out.
No, I had my COVID jab this morning and it all fell out. So no.
How are we looking, Gnome? How are we looking for the teams this evening?
Let's have a look at the teams, yeah. Okay, we've got a few changes. To pretty much nobody's surprise, Antonio isn't fit to start or play. So, but there are a few interesting changes, notwithstanding that. So we have Fabianski in goal, Diop, Dawson, Cresswell, Soufal, Souček, Rice, excuse me, Johnson, Lingard, Lanzini and Bowen, which means on the bench we have Benrahma, Alves, Noble, Fornals, Fredericks, Martin, Odubeko, Coventry and Baptiste. Excuse me. And Sheffield United line up as follows. Ramsdale, Basham, Egan, Ampadu, Bogle, Lundstram, Norwood, Osborne, Stevens, McGoldrick and Sharp. There you go. And tonight's referee is Simon Hooper.
Simon Hooper, thank you very much, Gnome, for alerting us to the teams. A couple of changes for West Ham in there, Gnome. We've got a new face on the bench. I think you said Connor Coventry's on the bench tonight. And yeah. I guess the one bone of contention for many will be Saeed Benrahma, not in the starting 11.
Yeah, I've got no information as to whether that's tactical or he's carrying a knock or just fatigued or what. Yeah, as I say, as you mentioned, some of us just got back from work at the kitchen table over there, so I've had to rush through. So I literally picked up the teams 2 minutes before we came on air. But yeah, that's the interesting change. Lanzini in to start. Yeah. The BBC have got it lining up with Bowen as the furthest forward of that. Now, whether or not he plays as an out-and-out sort of striker in a more central position, I think we'll wait and see. It may be one of these false number 9 situations, but we wait and see.
We do indeed. Evening, Pinky. How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm really looking forward to this game tonight, because what a chance it is to play a part in the demise of Sheffield United. And we mustn't give up this golden opportunity to take all 3 points this evening, put them even deeper into the mire. And if any of their supporters have got any hopes at all of getting out of the mess they have put themselves in, tonight is the night, dare I say it, send them down. You know, they may not have chanted it, but they were the ones who actually thought that we were the team that should have gone down instead of them. And I hope we absolutely stuff them 1-0 in the 94th minute of someone's backside, give them hope for 93 minutes and snatch it away in the 94th. And then I want a close-up of the whole of Sheffield crying, the whole city with just a bit of dark smog over the top of it. You know, them all at home drinking a gallon of Magnet, crying into it. Is that too much to ask for?
Well, I think it probably is, because if that scenario were to be realised, I would imagine that half of the city would be joining in with us cheering, given that obviously it's a split city. But yeah, I mean, Absolutely. That wouldn't that be wonderful? Rio, we've never really got over what happened, have we? 14 years ago, as Pinky says, all that money that was, conned essentially out of West Ham United. Let's be honest, we bear a big grudge over it. And I think this is one of those fixtures as consequently we all look out for as a result.
Yeah, we're football fans. We're bound to bear grudges. It's what we do, isn't it? Let's be honest, at the time, it didn't really bother us, did it? But them persistently chipping away, we need the money. You sent us down, you sent us down. We didn't. It was their own fault. Neil Warnock playing a week on the side up at Old Trafford. That was their demise. That was the catalyst of their demise.
Yeah.
We did our part by going up there and graciously losing 3-0, even with Tevez. Yeah. Then we thought, you know what? Let's play a little bit of football. Let's play our way out of trouble. And we went on an absolute amazing run. Now, what are we supposed to do? Roll over and die just because Sheffield United and Kevin McCabe say, you're cheats, you're cheats, you're cheats.
Was it Rio? Do you think, in sort of hindsight, that it was in a way worth going through every horrendous thing that occurred in that season to be part of what was still, and surely is to this day, still the greatest escape ever?
Only in hindsight. The very first start of that season was particularly painful, gruesome, nauseating, any other horrible word you want to describe it. It was that. That last 10, 15 game run was absolute glorious, though, and I wouldn't swap any of that for the world. Had some marvellous days out. The Wigan away day when we won up there 3-0 with an absolute packed way end, singing from non-stop from first minute to the 90th minute. One of the greatest away days ever. And in hindsight, it was a marvellous conclusion to that season, but at the time it was a little bit painful.
I recall being stuck in a hotel in Pittsburgh on a trip for work on the day we lost at home to Tottenham. That 4-3, when we were 3-2 up with what was it, a minute of normal time to go. Gnome, do you remember that one? And I think we sort of looked back, didn't we, when Spurs come back and won that, and we thought all was lost, and Sheffield were kind of laughing at West Ham and saying that Tevez isn't going to help you out there, and then of course it all turned out rather marvellously. And were you there at Old Trafford on the final day of that season?
Yeah, I was, because if you recall, I had a drink with you after the game in that hotel.
Well, see, I know this. I do remember this very well.
Yeah, the memory going, is it great? Yeah.
I remember your driver got stuck in, which is why you were there for longer than, or at least that was a convenient excuse anyway.
It was quite an interesting weekend, really, because playing for the supporters team, I'd ruptured my Achilles tendon. So I was actually on crutches.
That's right.
So I had to miss a few of the away games that I'd normally have gone to. And anyways, we were sort of getting towards the end of the season. They announced at work that they were having the firm's annual conference up at Manchester, in the city of Manchester Stadium, or whatever it's called. So and they said, well, obviously we need you there. And I said, well, yeah, but I need a bit of help here, guys. I'm on crutches. I've got my leg in plaster. And so bless them, they flew me up there. And so I stayed first couple of nights. I was up there for a few days. And I spent a couple of nights in the Holiday Inn, not far from the Etihad or whatever it's called, where bizarrely the Australian women's cycling team were also billeted. So that made for a few interesting evenings in the bar. God, I can drink. And then after on the Friday, I sort of got a cab from one side of Manchester to the other to that nice hotel that we stayed in. Stayed there for a few nights.
Yeah.
And bumped into, sadly, neither of them was with us, but some friends of the family who'd lived next door but one to us in Plaistow. Yeah. When I was a kid. So they came over on the day before the game. Now we had a few drinks in there, and they were telling everybody what a horrible little kid I was when I was 3 or 4, So nothing changes. But yeah, it was a wonderful weekend.
It was. It
Yeah.
was, wasn't it?
Not,
Absolutely brilliant.
not in any way or shape or form spoilt by the fact that we nearly missed the start of the game because, as usual, you were running late. We had your ticket.
Unheard of, absolutely unheard of. I blame the crowds that day. There were a lot of West Ham on the road that day. Pinky, what were your outstanding memories of that run into that season? I mean, we 7 out of 9 wins, wasn't it, for West Ham in the last last few games there?
Yeah, I mean, the tension, the will we, won't we, and just on that final day, all the rumours going around. So you're in a crowd. Not that many people had mobile phones then. They didn't. Smartphones kind of thing.
Yeah.
So whatever rumours you were hearing is like someone scored or someone's had someone sent off. All the rest of the nonsense. Yeah.
Yes.
And in the end, all you can do is concentrate on what's in front of you. But for sheer drama, I can't believe we've gotten away with it. Nothing will top it, because you look at that season, we were dead and buried. We were gone for all money, and I'm just looking back now through some of the results we got there that year, and you look at you're thinking Chesterfield away that season.
Oh gosh,
a particularly grim evening, in the League Cup, and I've seen somebody who was living in Kettering at the time, so had a convenience at a halfway house stopover. And yeah, and I kind of wish I hadn't bothered with the game in the end, if you get my drift. But a classic West Ham season. And there's a very good comment on the forum a year or so ago from Bubbles 1966. And he said, what we want is death or glory. Just don't bore us. That's West Ham United in a nutshell. We either want to be going all out, slaying a giant and sort of like beating, I don't know, a Manchester United on their own patch or whatever it may be, or getting stuffed 8-0 whilst trying to beat someone 1-0. What we don't want is the curb zone of 0-0, 10.
Yeah.
None of us want that. So a season like that, great escape, magic. And the whole thing then with the blunts afterwards. Personally, I thought it was shocking the way our club, capitulated on the affair with Sheffield United. I've got very strong opinions as to why that is, and for legal reasons, I won't expand on them on the show. But I felt some of the club's executive at the time let us down because they put their own personal circumstance ahead of the requirements of West Ham United Football Club. And for that, I will never forgive you, Scott Duxbury. But I'm not naming names on this show because I don't think it's right.
Of course not.
And for my money, Henry Winter, that's another name I won't name. How your opinion can be valued at what it is by the Times newspaper. I can't possibly reveal what your salary is on this broadcast, but you're not worth it, mate. Because if you think the only reason we stayed up that season were the 7 goals that Carlos Tevez chipped in, you know less than my mum about football. Full stop. Okay. So that whole affair has left a very bitter taste in my mouth, being serious for just a moment. Personally, I think all of our financial troubles stem back to that affair.
Yeah.
I bitterly regret the day we ever signed those 2 players, as good as they were, and they were 2 world-class footballers. The deal clearly wasn't right, but that then haunted us, ended up costing us over £30 million in total. I believe is the reason we fell into the hands of Gold, Sullivan and Brady and ultimately ended up in the London Stadium. It was a disastrous period in our history. And the third name I'll mention in this, Mr. Terry Brown, how you could absolve yourself of it and find yourself back as honorary president or whatever your title is and get a seat in the director's box at the London Stadium. I know you're a solid West Ham United supporter, Mr. Brown, but actually those errors happened on your watch and they have dogged West Ham United Football Club for nearly 2 decades now. And all of the people that I've named there should be at the very least embarrassed. And I'll leave it there.
Very good. Actually, that's there's a book there to be written, I think, about the potential downfall of West Ham, sort of going from that day on, August the 31st, 2005 or six. Was it 5 or 6? 2006 when we signed those two players, and you can trace all of our issues there. Of course, Terry Brown, a solid West Ham United supporter, some £70 million or so richer as a result of selling his share of the club to Eggert Magnusson and Bjorgolf Gudmundsson all those years ago. But yeah, very interesting. I mean, we could potentially do a show on that, or even a series one day. But anyway, let's move forward a little bit, because we don't want to dwell on that. I'm sure we'll be referring to it at several points during the evening. Anyway, moving on to tonight, the players are coming out down the tunnel. Let's have some predictions, gentlemen, before we start. Rio, what are you thinking tonight, buddy?
I'm going to revert to my normal down northern self tonight because we're opposition. I'm going to go for a 1-0 defeat.
Oh, 1-0 defeat, says Rio. Gnome, what do you reckon?
The last few days, I've been sort of thinking, this is going to be a tough one, this is going to be a tough one, this is going to be a tough one. And then today, for some reason, I'm slightly more optimistic. 2-1 to us.
Must be the drugs they put in your body.
It must be the COVID jab, yeah.
Pinky, what do you reckon, finally?
I'd rather have Gordon's drugs than Rio's smashed avocado, whatever he has for breakfast. I'm going with 1-0 to us, obviously, in the 93rd, 94th minute, and it's going in off Vladimir Coufal's left buttock. There you go.
I'm going to laugh so much if it turns out to be his right one.
So there you have it. Rio going for a 1-0 defeat. Gnome and Pinky going for West Ham victories 2-1 and 1-0 respectively. I'm going to go for the draw in that case and sit on the fence and go for a 1-1 draw, because I just think they've got the potential to spoil this one a little bit tonight with yet again with the opportunity, Rio, to go fifth in the table, of course, or as we said at the top of the show, even better if Chelsea have an aberration against Newcastle tonight.
Yeah, the stakes are high again, aren't they? Last time we mentioned this, what happened? Exactly. So the reason I'm being a bit of a pessimist tonight is I've only just got in from work. I'm absolutely bloody knackered. Sheffield United got one of them horrible auras about them. We've had a pretty dire run against them. I think the last 15 games are only won 3. So just everything's adding up to me to be a little bit negative. And Pinky's chipping in with criticising my healthy breakfast choices now. I mean, when's the world going to do me a favour? It's just not
on. There you go. Just actually looking at those matches, Rio, you're referring to, lots of very, very close games. 1-0, of course, up at Bramall Lane earlier in the year. Last season we lost there 1-0. 1-0, of course, at Stratford last year. 1-1 in the Capital Cup last time we met before that in 2014, August 2014. Of course, that game, the last game before that was a 3-0 at Bramall Lane, which should really have sent West Ham plummeting into the Championship, but in the end just served to give Sheffield United a false sense of security that they never recovered from. And then 1-0, 1-1, 1-1. Looking at the overall head-to-head between the teams, what do we reckon, chaps? Who's won the most, West Ham or Sheffield United? Any guesses?
It'll be one of those two.
It almost certainly will be.
I'm going to go Sheffield United.
Sheffield United for Rio. No, what do you reckon?
Close one, but I think actually I'm going to go for us.
Okay. Pinky, have you looked at the stats tonight?
I have, but it didn't register, and I've not got it on screen at the minute, but I'm going to go for us.
Okay. It's actually Sheffield have won 36 games to 31. West Ham with 23 draws having taken place over the years. So just the Blades just edging it at the moment. We are about to kick off anyway at the London Olympic Stadium. West Ham United versus Sheffield United. A battle of Uniteds once again. And Yeah, we're quietly confident, I guess. I should say hello to everybody joining us on the stream. Good to have you all on board. To Rob, of course, who is in Sheffield. So we expect Rob Young to be out in the streets should West Ham United win tonight, screaming at the top of his lungs, and then running very quickly back in and shutting the doors. Richard, to Andy, David, Dan, Hobo, Lewis, etc. To all of you watching us on the stream, thank you for joining us this evening, and do let us know what you think of the game as we go along. Should we have a time check, Gnome? What are we on at the moment?
Yeah, just watching the ball just run out for a West Ham goal kick. Time I've got is 45 seconds now.
Okay, Pinky, where are you at?
I'm with Gnome.
And Rio, are you up with the other guys?
No, I've unfortunately got the usual BT lag. I've only just kicked off.
Okay. I'm on 45 seconds, so I guess I must be 15 or 20 behind you two guys. But I'm going to flick around and see what I can get on the streams. Just seeing Chris Wilder on the sideline there. Gnome Preview Percy was saying earlier this week that Chris Wilder's probably using up a few points in the bank with regards to still being employed by Sheffield. They had a fantastic season last year, didn't they? But it's just all gone awry this year, incredibly so.
Yeah, I mean, there's that thing that people keep sort of talking about called second season syndrome. I'll break off here because they've got the ball just about kept in there. Cross comes in, but it's far too far, and it's cleared there by Diop. Sorry, just looks as if they were going to get down to the byline there for a bit. But West Ham bring it away. Yeah, I mean, he brought them up. Obviously, he came in when they were languishing around what I still refer to as Division 3.
Yeah.
And having got them out of there and got them up, obviously, and also being a supporter, he's obviously going to be sort of given cut a lot of slack that maybe somebody had come in, last season and brought them up, maybe not getting. But a through ball there just fails to find Lanzini, who's in a good position. Nobody around him for miles. He got in between the defenders was suggesting there were defenders close enough to get in between. They were, there was a gap a mile wide there, so that's going to be interesting. So as I say, he's got all that built up in the bank, but you think somebody had come in with maybe 14 points from safety, they might have gone around Christmas time. Bowen's on the ball now. Bowen's had his legs taken away there by that's what I think it was Egan or Osborne. Camera's focusing on Osborne. I didn't think it was him that done it, but free kick to West Ham in dangerous territory. It was Osborne, yes. That was the other guy coming through. Right, so, really it's about 20 yards out. Yeah, 20 yards out, left of centre. Could do with a right footer into the corner here. Be interested to see who takes this one. So there's a bit of a committee over the ball. This Ramsdale's trying to line up the wall. So we've got Rice, Cresswell, Lingard there. It's now right. I think it's maybe Rice. But Cresswell's also, maybe Cresswell. Cresswell's having another look. Rice it is, though. Straight through the wall. Good save by Ramsdale. And that's what's been given there. I think he's given a penalty there. Yeah, I thought it might be, but Sheffield United are not. I mean, I'm so amazed at potentially seeing a penalty.
Did you say a penalty, Gnome?
Yeah,
there's no fairness in football. Parliament, let's get going. Let's march Parliament. Yeah, where's Sean Bean when you need him?
Well,
I mean, the shot came right through the wall. It's well saved by Ramsdale, and he got caught there. That was Dawson was first to the ball, and he got caught. And I thought, well, that looks like a free kick, but wasn't expecting it to get given. And it's Declan Rice will take the penalty. We were wondering if and when we ever got one. No, I think it's now being looked at. I think there seems to be another delay now. I think VAR are having a gander.
Sean Bean on the phone to Stockley Park. already. Yeah. Eamon McCabe threatening lawsuits. He'll be demanding £30 million after the referees mob. Was it PGMOL you call them? No. You know, they're already wishing lawsuits.
I think we might have I think we might not have a penalty here because I think they're looking at now. Dawson, was he offside at the free kick?
Oh, here we go. It was too good to be true.
I think they've got the lines out, and I think they're going to say Dawson was offside at the time of the kick. Now you got these phases of play, but I think they're going to give that as offside. So we haven't got a penalty, probably.
Yeah, I mean, he looks a good 6 millimeters offline, doesn't he? If you're looking at
mind you, at that point, if you look at what they're taking there, the ball's already been kicked. And if they're going to do it on that photograph, then they need to run it back half a frame because the ball's already left Rice's foot.
Yeah, it is actually, isn't it? It's
give me offside, so maybe we'll never see what a penalty's like.
There you go, Pinky.
Sean Bean strikes again. Well done, Sean. Yeah, you've done it for Yorkshire again. Well done.
It's quite amazing that actually.
Fine actor.
Yes, very much so. I'm not sure if I'm more surprised that we were given a penalty or the fact, Rio, that Craig Dawson was the player fouled inside the penalty box there.
Yeah. Both bizarre instances, aren't they?
Yeah.
As you lot were discussing it, I've been rattling through trying to find a dictionary to find out what this penalty thing is. We're still none the wiser. But Craig Dawson offside, you know? Who'd have thought it?
Yeah.
Who would have thought it?
Well, there it is. 7 minutes gone. West Ham United 0, Sheffield United 0. We thought we had a penalty, but no, not to be. Simon Hooper gave it. VAR ruled it out. So we're back to square one. Sheffield United live again, Pinky, but encouraging stuff from West Ham nonetheless, regardless.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I mean, a good effort to get it past the wall anyway. But but I've just got this image of Gnome sitting in the dugout or near the dugout somewhere, you know, whispering to David Moyes. You know, if you'd picked me, would have got that penalty. Oh, the blades were nearly in there for a moment, but McGoldrick was just too old to get on the end of it. He hooked it back over his head, and ball well cleared by Fabianski. But no, I mean, the only fear I'd have against this Sheffield United team is if we just can't muster a goal from somewhere. And without opening up the debate for the 400th time, it's how can a club with our finances, etc., go into a game without a recognised striker? You know, just one that's just not available to the manager. How can that be? How can that be good squad planning? And if we do fail to win tonight, I hope the chairman has a long, hard think about, you know, what might have been, because, you know, the supporters want to see us in Europe. The supporters want to see us finish as high up the league system as we can. And yet here we are again, David Moyes picking a side with no recognised striker because he doesn't have one. It's nonsense.
Yeah, totally agree. But we are where we are. Just going back to that McGoldrick opportunity. I mean, it's actually Spencer Nils called it on the YouTube chat. Says it was actually a great clearance by McGoldrick. It was a very good ball played in over the top, and McGoldrick, I think Rio was sort of served to hook it away from danger, saving the West Ham defence having to bother.
Yeah, I think it'd be looked at by our scouts, wouldn't he, for his defensive work there. I think we've been on our list for our freebies in the summer. Great, it was great work though. Great work.
Yeah, it was fantastic. We're going to have a look at
the whom you speak, Rio. Yeah,
I've just looked up alongside the penalty definition.
Yes, file under forward planning and
it's a corner to Sheffield policy. United at the moment. Getting back to the game and these mythical penalty things. It's good work down the left by the visitors. And Sufil came in to tidy it all up. But it's quite an open game at the moment, and both sides are giving it a go. Corner comes in now. And now, not sure what happened there, but Fabianski seemed to go to punch it, but seemed to be beaten to it, and took a punch at fresh air as the ball had been nodded past in front. But there's another corner given. Let's see if this comes off. Let's see if that comes off. Yeah, that's Dawson clears it. So it's another corner, same side, our right, their left. Swung in again, and Diop's up there, up in the air, and it's now cleared. And nice touch by Lingard to bring it away. Now, what can we do here? Lingard going down the left-hand side, now looking for help. He's still got the ball. Cuts inside to Lanzini, who's closed down, and but we keep the ball live. It's now with Soufal. Soufal swings the ball in across. It's headed again up in the air, then kicked up in the air. So everyone's regrouping. Lingard now, we're keeping this pressure up. Well, it was looking promising there, but it's now sort of slowed down, but we still got the ball. Johnson now on the left. Again, everybody's looking. Johnson does his fullback, gets the cross in. That's not a good defensive header by the number 3 there. That's Stevens. Very weak header. It goes out for a throw-in, but he had no idea where his nearest player was, and that could easily have been a bit more dangerous for us.
Definitely. I'm just going back to that earlier corner from Sheffield United. It looked like it was going in the net. That
for a second,
that coming, and then sort of Dawson stole in out of nowhere to avert the danger, and West Ham sort of live again, I guess. But here we are, 12 minutes gone. West Ham United 0, Sheffield United 0. West Ham given a penalty. Yeah, remember those after 6 minutes, 5 minutes actually. But VAR decided to overturn it less than a minute later. Craig Dawson being given offside, of all people. Craig Dawson being offside. But there you go. So the Blades living again and averting the danger with that early scare. Hello to everyone just joining us on the stream, to Elsie, to Jeremy, to Chris, and all the other guys joining us this evening. Seems to be quite busy on the stream tonight, so do let us know what you think. To Sean as well. How you doing, Sean? Good to see you as well. Let us know what you think of the game as it goes on. We're just seeing a replay there on the TV a few seconds ago of the penalty incident which Simon Hooper gave, but was later ruled out by VAR. Gentlemen, t-shirts, t-shirt time. Rio, what were you wearing tonight, buddy?
West Ham's finest, Iron Maiden. First ever game when I went up to Bramall Lane. It was the match sponsor was both Def Leppard and Iron Maiden, because obviously Leppard are big Sheffield United fans. But we won that game 2-0. I was hoping this would bring us a little bit of luck.
Okay, good stuff. No?
Sorry, Lanzini was first forward there, and fed Lingard. Lingard got the shot in. Didn't see it have an awful lot of power, but the keeper made a bit of a mess. It's been saved and it's cleared, and Sheffield United bring it away. So sorry if I talked about something like the game rather than my t-shirt.
Forget that. We just want to know what logo you're wearing today.
Yeah, I've worn this one before actually. It was top of that particular draw this morning. And it's Mellotron, the symbol of the Mellotron Corporation, who made the wonderful, sort of almost steam-driven proto sampler. Really, you can imagine it's sort of something that weighed about 4 ton. It had tapes in it, pre-recorded tapes, which you press the key and it played whatever was on the tape. And I think most famously the odd flute noises at the beginning of Strawberry Fields Forever. That was Mellotron. So,
there you go.
Beast of an instrument. Terrible all around if you use them live, which is why everyone now samples Mellotrons and builds in the sort of horrible tape wow that you used to get with them. But much beloved of people like me.
There you go. Talking of beasts, West Ham's own beast, bringing it back towards the game. Missing tonight. Pinky, Michail Antonio ruled out. Do you think he was ever really in contention to play today?
No, I wouldn't think so. Dare I say it, if you're going to rest him for a game, perhaps this is the game you want to rest him for. But Big Willie, as I think he should be known now, following his tweet yesterday. I don't know if everybody saw that.
I did.
He gave a quote from somebody, another, was it Oscar Wilde or something like that? And firmly tongue-in-cheek from Mikel Antonio. And I suspect he's a very popular player in the dressing room because he comes across as a thoroughly decent chap. But no, I think tonight, if for no other reason than perhaps Mr. Moyes wanted to make the point that his squad is wafer thin, he's probably given Mikel a bit of a rest, and it's a worry for me that all of our hopes hinge on one player, and one hamstring, And could you imagine this season finishing 5th on goal difference and missing out on a place in the Champions League? Such are the fine margins, and more than ever this season, the chairman might have cause to regret not finding that extra 10 million quid down the back of his sofa. And the whole thing with Ben Rama, which I think is a bigger surprise this evening, he's left side out this team. This is the 30 million pound man. And he can't force his way into this starting lineup. There's something that doesn't sit right with me there. You're thinking, if we've spent 30 million pound on a player the manager won't pick, then, when he doesn't have anyone to put the ball in the onion bag, it's hardly a glaring vote of confidence, unless he's got a knock that we don't know about, or unless he's only 60%, and the manager doesn't want to risk him for the full 90 minutes. Or maybe he's saying, do you know what? I'll let Sheffield United huff and I'll puff for an hour, then I'll introduce him against tired legs, and he might have more impact. We shall see. But Antonio being missing, not a surprise at all. Did we ever actually offer him the extra year in his deal? Has he got a new contract yet, or where are we?
He signed one, didn't he? Last year, was it towards the end of last year? Was it a new 3-year contract?
Player, the wrong side of 30, contract extension, dodgy hamstrings. And as much as we all like Antonio, is that the best bit of business for West Ham United? I'm not so sure.
No, of course, I remember a conversation we had. Sorry, Gnome, you coming in there?
Yeah, just a longer ball, slightly more direct. We went there, which just a yard or so too long for Lingard. But that may be a way forward here, as Diop heads the ball a foot off the ground to clear. But yeah, that was interesting because Lingard, if he can time those runs like that, that's just a couple of times where we've got in that gap.
Yeah.
So just as I say, decent half chance.
Very much so. My apologies
for
my arm.
Nice ball play through Soufal again, just a yard too far. He'd done the sort of overlapping third man run there, but the keeper was awake and came out to the edge of the box. But again, you get a feeling that keep this up. Well, it's just beginning to come. One of those is going to happen.
Apologies for the arm over the screen there briefly. I'm trying to get my BT Sport app to work because my Moody stream isn't working. Terrible, isn't it? You pay the money for these things for. Useless. 19 minutes gone. West Ham United
if you did. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. West Ham United 0, Sheffield United 0. Pretty even stuff so far, gentlemen. West Ham 52% possession to Sheffield United's 48. West Ham 2 shots, both on target, 100% so far for the Hammers. It's 100% also for Sheffield United because they haven't had a single shot yet. So also no shots on target. Sheffield United do, of course, have a couple of corners in the bag. West Ham yet to test the blades from that kind of set piece. Although, of course, the only set piece West Ham really enjoyed so far was in the 5th minute, ended up with a penalty being awarded, which was subsequently ruled out by VAR because Craig Dawson was offside. West Ham, the only Premier League team without a penalty so far this season. 20 minutes in, Rio, what are we thinking tactically here? I mean, we know we've spoken about West Ham playing with no recognised striker tonight. How is that affecting us up front? Well, who's lining up where? Is it leaving us short? What do you make of it so far?
To be honest, we cope quite well with it. it looks like for me that Lanzini's the most forward out of the three attacking midfielders who got on the pitch. And he's actually been quite bright. He's had a pretty of a wretched season, hasn't he? But he's looked rather lively tonight, which is a good sign. Lingard looks like he's coming in from a lot deeper, but his runs have been really impressive. He's created a little bit of space in behind at times. And Jared Bowen, I thought, might take up the striker role. He's been very quiet again. And he's got this mystery illness, which no one seems to know, even himself by the look of it, because there's no information being divulged anywhere.
Yeah.
But I thought he might take the central role, but he's been more or less on the left all the time. And he's been very quiet out of the three of our attacking players.
Yeah, very much so. Chris Wilder complaining about a decision he didn't get there just a few moments ago. Gnome, are you happy with what you've seen so far? Opening half of the first half?
It's been... We've had a bit more of the possession. Sheffield United are now sort of enjoying a little... about a minute of possession so far. I'd like to see us upping the tempo just a little bit. Sheffield United get a cross in, and that's kind of behind everyone in there. And Lanzini picks up on the edge of the box to mop up. I'd like to see us up the tempo. Where we've looked dangerous, and there's a couple of times where it hasn't quite come off, but it's the slightly more direct ball that Lanzini and Lingard have both nearly got on the end of. And I wonder if it might be worth... we're overhitting them, though. We can actually... Diop's just planted one, but again, Ramsdale comes to the edge of the box. Bowen not really with any chance of getting that. Bit of a nothing free kick to Sheffield United now. But yeah, maybe just up the tempo a little bit. We're still, when we are passing it, it's slow pace. And I get the feeling if we just upped it a little bit, we could start making inroads here.
22 and a bit minutes gone. We are pretty much halfway through the first half here at the London Olympic Stadium. It's 0-0 between the two Uniteds. West Ham perhaps having the better of it so far, just about shading it, but it's still very, very quiet, and both teams really feeding each other out. And another player that's coming to the team, Pinky, tonight, we saw very briefly at Old Trafford last week. Issa Diop. Big shoes to fill tonight with Angelo Ogbonna out of the side. Yeah,
and he's a player that after a bright start with West Ham is one that has failed to move on and crack on. Week in, week out, when Ogbonna's fit, he keeps Diop out of the team. That's his competition. And Ogbonna, clearly the senior player. Who knows, maybe somewhere someone's got a plan that says we've bought Diop as a long-term replacement for Ogbonna.
Yeah.
I don't believe it myself. I don't think, A, with that forward thinking, and B, I don't think the chairman would commit £22 million of money for someone to sit in the reserves for a couple of years. It was just not within him. So I'm personally, I'm not sure of Diop. I think his decision-making is poor. But we're on the attack here now. Lingard down the left-hand side. Gets shot off, forces a save out of the Sheffield United keeper, corner of West Ham. So Diop, just tonight, concentrate, don't make mistakes, don't give Sheffield United anything. But I'd say, looking at the back line, if someone makes a mistake, it'll be him.
A really quick counter by West Ham there. No, we have a corner.
Yeah, just what I wanted, a bit more sort of directness. Lovely work from Declan Rice at the beginning of that. Sheffield United would begin to look a little bit dangerous, but he put a foot in, then dropped his shoulder and sent everybody the wrong way. And we were able to come out. Corner comes in, and Dawson's on the head of it, just heads over. So it heads over wide, really. It was a good break as well. The only thing was that when Lingard went down, bursting down the left, because of the speed of the break, he only had really Bowen up with him. Bowen was well sort of marshalled in the middle. Might have been an idea for Bowen to just sort of halt his run, check his run on the way in, which would have given Lingard the option of the pullback rather than the shot. Good shot, narrow angle, but you'd expect the keeper to save that.
Do we think Dawson could perhaps have done better with that header there? No, he lost his man, didn't he? And free header in the end, but just stretching back a little, leaning back.
It was a little bit high, sort of came more off the top of the head than the forehead. But maybe a bit. But it sort of bodes well. Call that one a sighter.
Dawson, of course, West Ham's main man in the opposition penalty area so far. Offside for the penalty decision that was cancelled out, and as Gnome told us just then, heading just over the bar. 26 minutes gone. West Ham United 0, Sheffield United 0. West Ham, of course, playing this evening without a recognised striker in the team. How has that gone down on the KUMB.com forum match thread, Rio? What's the views from the fans tonight about that decision?
There was a lot of consternation at first, but I think everyone was anticipating it was going to happen anyway. The biggest amount of chat really has been regarding the penalty decision. And also the fallout, again, VAR getting for a lot of criticism, and rightly so. But yeah, everyone's quite happy with an energetic start. Just saying, it's a little 61 Dixie, but it's a little bit frantic when you get a foot on the ball.
Yeah.
Wall 359's put sooner or later we're going to get one of these nice through balls. Junko partner and Ozza, between the pair of them. Ozza put Lingard is such a clever player, and Junko partner's really surprised by his pace and quick thought and quick feet too. So a little bit of praise. No one's too downhearted. Everyone's quite happy at the moment. It's a miracle.
We'll see how long that lasts, but good stuff anyway. Thank you, Rio. And Pinky is keeping an eye on the opposition forum this evening on the Sheffield United forums on s24su.com. They didn't seem too positive, Pinky, when I was having a look on there earlier. They sort of got a little bit more positive as the evenings wore on. Is it still sort of pretty negative stuff from the Blaze fans?
It's doom and gloom, dare I say, like a night out in Sheffield. There's one here that absolutely stands out for its lack of self-awareness. They should always frame this and have this as a club motto, this one. The golf in finances is illustrated by the fact they can spend the money they did on Ben Rama and have him on the bench and also pay Lingard's wages. The day irony died, Sheffield United supporters complaining about the finances between the two clubs. I mean,
brazen.
It's just, was 30 million pounds not enough? I mean, did they want us to build a new stand for them or something like that, or I don't know, chip in for Tony Curry's testimonial? What more could we do for them in terms of financial support? And still they're not happy. And I think you just look at them tonight. The pink shirts, they're goading us. Last team we played in that colour shirt was Palermo, and it's the same season as the Great Escape. And they think that's going to put us off tonight. Not a chance. Not a chance. And the Palermo players look much better in their smart pink shirts. That is all.
A certain username, of course, coming from that.
Well,
no.
Couple of things to note. There survived a slight shout for a penalty, although nobody on the pitch seemed to shout for it. But Stodgy just about got enough on the ball there. But Bowen's just been upended just outside the box. The number 12 there, who's Egan, has just gone straight through the back of him. A little bit of a painful one there for Bowen. He's just pulling himself up. So we've got right of centre, and about 20 yards out. Sort of Cresswell's looking at this one. Being on the right-hand side, probably more adept for a left footer. But Lanzini's also in conversation, shall we say. So if it would be Cresswell, it might well be a shot. Lanzini will be floated in. Cresswell shoots, and that's woeful. High, wide. Poor free kick, waste. He can do better than that, and he knows it.
Yeah, disappointing. Rio, we bemoaned the fact that some of our set pieces at Manchester were a little bit below par, and bit of a poor start again tonight, really, with the corner and that from Cresswell, which, as Gnome said, was pretty horrendous, quite frankly.
Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? All season we've excelled at this, and when we really need it to count, when we're lacking the numbers and lacking outlets, we really need to set pieces to be on point. And last 2-3 games have not delivered at all. Just noticing as well, last 10 minutes, Bowen is playing more centrally now. His movement's been pretty decent. He's held it up quite well a couple of times, but just he lacks the intelligence in his layoffs and his distribution from there. But he's doing okay, considering he's got this mystery illness. He's worked hard and he's creating a little bit of opportunities. So just it's a bit of a thankless task, isn't it, with a lightweight team?
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
Free kicks to Sheffield United there. Just see the Osborne's just pushed it past Diop and basically just tried to leapfrog him, I think, and Diop hasn't got out of the way. It looked very much like leapfrog. So really, just try to see exactly how far out it is. They're not showing us.
Now, how is that a free kick? Yeah. Someone tell me how that's a free kick. Diop stood his ground, the guy's leapt over his back, and it's a free kick.
Free kick played in.
Because if you look at the action by when he challenged for the ball and missed, yeah, it was a foul. Come on, take off your Clara blue tinted specs. Yeah.
Diop knew what he was doing there, I think, is the way to phrase that.
Okay, maybe I'm being a bit generous then.
Yeah. Now a loose ball there was snapped on by McGoldrick, and who had a swing at the volley there, which Declan Rice not getting hold of the ball there, but it was a bit poor from McGoldrick. He was about 3 yards wide of the goal and he hit it straight, so it went 3 yards right of the goal.
It is nonetheless Sheffield United's first effort at goal in the game. West Ham 5 shots so far, 3 on target. We sort of saw the best and the worst there of Diop in a couple of minutes now. We saw the break on the left by Sheffield United, which he watched well to divert the danger and put the ball out for a corner, and then of course, called a little bit flat-footed, as he's almost want to do that, isn't he? A little bit at times. And I was giving him the benefit of the doubt there, but it was a foul. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it was a foul. We've just given away another one where Johnson sort of had a slight slip as he tried to go in, but which basically brought forth the foul. He's shaking his head. It was a foul. It kind of, the slip as he went in brought it forward, but it still was a foul. So it's out wide on the Sheffield United right, and Lundstrom, well, he's over there doing his laces up. Whether or not he'll be here to take it, I don't know, but Lundstrom now runs away, and ball's played in, and only finds the head of Johnson. Lanzini comes away the ball, very unlucky not to get it past the player on the floor. Sheffield United come back now. Now Stevens plays a ball in. That's well saved by Fabianski. Low, dangerous cross there. And he's come along and cut it out nicely. So West Ham can build now.
A couple of opportunities for Sheffield there. Beginning to get back into the game. The possession-wise, it's very, very close. 50-50 so far, exactly. As we approach the final 10 minutes of the first half. West Ham not really opening Sheffield up that much so far. It's been one of those sort of pretty dull games, isn't it? Really, not a lot of goalmouth action really so far.
No, there's been nothing clear cut. Both sides lacking that cutting edge desperately. For all his work rate, McGoldrick for them doesn't offer a lot. And obviously we know our deficiencies up front at the moment. But I think ours is both a physical and an incisional problem rather than Just a lack of quality, really.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, one player I was expecting to see a little bit more of tonight. We've heard a lot about him in recent days and weeks. We just saw Lanzini give the ball away really cheaply there. He's Bogle for Sheffield United, been really highly spoken of by the fans up there, but very quiet today, really. I haven't seen an awful lot of him really just yet.
Yeah, no, he's the last few games, when they've had this little bit of a resurgence, he's been one of the focal points of this, and but we've nullified him really well tonight so far. Let's hope it continues, because we don't want him regaining some of that form that he's shown coming into this game and trying to pick us off a little bit. But no, we've done all right. We've marshalled him really well.
Shot for the visitors there, which bobbling along the ground. No, it wasn't going in, but Lanzini wasn't 100% sure and got a fingertip to it, so it's a corner. But that wasn't going in, and it's a corner on the Sheffield United right, our left, when they can be bothered to go get the ball. So, stay with me. Okay, corner comes across, and Soufal heads away. It's a good header, quite a long header, and it's gone all the way back to the halfway line. Now Sheffield United trying to bring it forward again. Sheffield United seem to be getting a lot down our right-hand side, their left.
Yeah.
Stephen seeing a lot of the ball down there, and Osborne. They've just played it out for a goal kick, but that's slightly concerning. Soufal's not getting a lot of protection from ahead of him.
I was just going to come in on that. Sorry, no, I'm just coming in on that. I was going to ask you if you felt Soufal had been a little bit quiet going forward. We're used to seeing him performing these lung bursting runs down that right flank. I haven't seen an awful lot of that yet tonight.
Yeah, he's, as I say, he's not getting an awful lot of protection in front of him, and so he's having to sort of concentrate a little more on the defensive aspects of the role, I think. So on the ball now, he's got to throw in anyway. One of these things, whenever we see it, we'll have a throw in, it always seems to be somebody else's problem. Everybody looks away and the throw's sort of looking around, aiming for somebody to throw it at. Oh, that's lazy from Lingard, but he does enough to help win it back, and he's on the ball now. And the ball's played out. Cresswell in a central position, out to Johnson. Johnson in danger of beating himself there, but he's got to the byline and gets a cross in. Not a very good one, and it's cleared, but as Sheffield United player goes down and they're bringing it away now. We've got to watch these quick free kicks. A couple of times they're taking free kicks quite quickly, and we've not been sort of up and awake for it. So just a thing to watch there. So.
Nice work there, Pinky, from Ben Johnson on the left flank, fizzing a crossing low to the near post, but no one there again. Seems to be sort of a little bit of a lack of urgency as far as I can see from the Hammers tonight.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of players.
Good
Lingard attacking now. Bowen plays a lovely ball in. Lingard on the ball. Oh, and it's almost just come straight through the back.
Oh, that's a penalty.
Absolute nail.
Taken him out.
And a yellow card. Thank you very much. Yeah, should have been a straight red just for being a Sheffield United player. But no, I mean, it's a nailed on spot kick. Absolutely stonewall.
Yeah. It's a good move.
I mean, you know, if you did that in the high school, you'd get 5 months. I'd say
there's a case for a red card.
You'd get 5 months inside for that. I mean, just absurd.
Is this the double jeopardy issue coming out, Gnome, here?
Well,
as they call it?
I mean, I think they might be having a look at it, because the double jeopardy thing is if you go in to make a tackle and you're slightly late with it, then you'll get a yellow. It's where you make no attempt to play the ball, and there's been a couple of things recently with players who have been trying not to play the ball and getting it. But anyway, Rice is now going to get his penalty.
Bit of a conversation there between Jesse Lingard and Deckenbauer about who takes the spot kick. And Dex pulled rank and basically said, "Out the way, son. I'm having a go at this." And
I've got the armband.
To see that conversation taking place, if I'm being honest.
Shades of Di Canio and Lampard there once again. Not quite so.
Slightly
the
down
same.
time. Right,
But,
Declan,
no,
put it away.
take us through it. Take us through it, if you will.
Declan
Penalty
puts
to
it in the
West Ham.
bottom left-hand corner, just inside the post. You can't save those. And not without cheating anyway. And 1-0 West Ham.
Rio, we've had
That's a penalty.
two penalties now. All right, one was taken off, but we've had one, and Mark Noble's not out there. And what do you make of the penalty? It looked a little bit of a dodgy one to me from Rice. It didn't sort of zip into the corner. It kind of took a bounce first, didn't it?
He still hasn't taken it on my stream. He's just had to run up now.
Spoiler
He's going to
alert.
put this in the bottom left. I've got no doubt about this.
Watch the bounce. West Ham United lead against Sheffield United. Declan Rice with a shot from 12 yards. Yes, it's called a penalty. A penalty. West Ham finally have a penalty. And we've scored it. 100% record from the spot this season. Declan Rice stepping up to give the Hammers the lead. And Pinky probably just about deserved on the, given what we've seen so far.
Yeah, absolutely. Because being no doubt, Sheffield United are not playing like a team fighting for their lives. There's not going to be a great escape for them this season. That's for certain on the evidence of what we've seen in the opening, 42 minutes. They're okay. They're knocking the ball about a bit, but I'm not seeing a team that really desperately wants to stay in the Premier League. Having said that, the challenge that went straight through the back of Jesse Lingard, all joking apart, it's the sort of challenge that could have caused the player a very serious injury. And for my money, a yellow card was wholly inappropriate for that. That's a red card. There's no real attempt to play the ball. He's just saying, do you know what? You're going to score if I let you go. So I'm just going to go straight through the back of you. And I'd like to think that's the sort of offence they can have a look at afterwards. They won't, of course, because he got the yellow card, but shocking that the Sheffield player is still on the pitch. Rice is torn forward here now, plays the ball left. Lingard on the ball now, knocks it back. Lanzini comfortable on the ball on the edge of the box, left-hand side, chucks it down left. Ben Johnson on the ball now, plays it back to Lanzini, back to Rice, well in control here. We're just knocking the ball around 20 yards from the Sheffield United goal. Lingard on the ball again, plays it through. Lanzini plays it to Johnson, puts the cross in and headed away. Only as far, though, as Souček, who tidies it up, gives it to Soufal. Soufal goes forward now, plays a square ball to Bowen. Back to Souček. I mean, we're totally dominant here at this little phase of play.
Yeah.
Doing exactly the sort of thing 2 weeks ago that we weren't comfortable knocking the ball around on the edge of the opposition's box. We showed a bit of patience there, which is quite nice to see. And what does it do? It draws the foul out of Sheffield United. I think they've blown for the foul, have they?
It's blown. So two players are down. Lingard and the defender, both on the floor. They're focusing on Lingard, who's. I'm not quite sure what's happening there now. Let's have a look here. This is the penalty incident, and they're showing again. So,
no. What's your view on this? Do you agree with Pinky that it was a red card? You agree with that? You don't think there's any legitimate challenge there?
I don't think there was any attempt to play the ball. Now Lingard got clipped there, and they're coming together. And Lingard's been penalised for it rather than the Sheffield United player. I think. Well, it looks at things. It's Ampadu who's. As they've come together, Ampadu's got he's obviously got a facial knock. He's got a nosebleed there. So, we'll be having another couple of minutes added on for this. And he'll have to change his shirt as well.
Yeah,
so what happened there?
Claret on the wrong shirt there.
Basically, Ampadu was there, and Lingard sort of kind of ran into him and just caught him, I think, with his hand. One of those total sort of accidental collisions, really. But it's one of those ones. It doesn't take an awful lot if you get a clunk on the nose to produce some red stuff. And well, they're showing the board up. There's going to be 3 additional minutes of stoppage time. I suspect that will actually turn it in an era 5 because we've got this incident. The plane still hasn't restarted yet.
Well, look, talking about this incident, Gnome, coming back to this, tell me what the difference is between that challenge on Jesse Lingard there and the one we spoke about earlier by Diop. Because the players made the run, it's been halted by a defender. What's the difference?
Oh, just looking at Bowen potentially getting through, but it seems to have flicked off him. There's a lot more deliberation in what Diop was doing. In that he saw what was happening, and I think he was being shrewd, deliberately sort of blocked the way off. Whereas this was more sort of, I think it was more an accidental collision. I don't think really it was a free kick. Really, it was just one of those coming together that happens and all that. So
but the point is that Lingard's run is clearly balked by the defender. It's the same outcome. It's the same effect.
It was less deliberate from the Sheffield United and Pandu. I think there wasn't a sort of stepping across if you're not pass. He didn't move his direction, whereas Diop sort of took a slight shuffle to make sure he had that run blocked off, in my opinion.
Okay, there you go. We are deep into added on time at the end of the first half. West Ham leading Sheffield by 1-0 to 0. The goal coming in the 41st minute from Declan Rice, scoring from the penalty spot after a little bit of a discussion with Jesse Lingard over who would take it. Lingard, of course, having won the penalty. But we shall come back to that incident at half time because there's definitely a view that Sheffield should perhaps be down to 10 men, Gnome, as we come into the last minute.
Yeah. We'll discuss that later. Corner to West Ham, out on the West Ham left. Lingard's going to take it. Some good work from Johnson. Got down the corner flag and forced the corner. So just waiting for it to come across now. Lingard plays the corner. Headed out to the edge of the box. Cresswell will retrieve. Now looking for help. Plays it inside to Declan Rice, who goes down the left wing, skins the fullback. Just doesn't quite keep it in to get the cross in. But good work from Rice there, but just ran out of pitch. Just at the very spot where the pitch suddenly became longer when Man United were down there earlier on this season.
Rapidly running out of time at the end of this first half. Of course, there's a slight disparity between the times that some of us are viewing it in. Pinky and Gnome watching the game pretty much live, and Rio and I a little bit behind. Hence,
well, that's the half-time whistle. So they played exactly 3 minutes of stoppage. Which seemed a bit bizarre since the first minute of that was taken up by a player being treated for injury. Anyway, there you go. Good half, West Ham 1-0. Let's keep the foot on the pedal for the second half and give the goal difference a bit of a boost.
There it is, the only goal of the first half coming in the 41st minute. Declan Rice scoring from the penalty spot. I repeat, Declan Rice scoring from the penalty spot. That little circle, 12 yards from the goal line, which you may have wondered what was for up until now. West Ham, of course, prior to this evening, the only Premier League side not to be awarded a penalty, but awarded 2 in the end inside the opening 45 minutes. The first after just 5 minutes. When Declan Rice, a free kick was saved by Ramsdale in the Sheffield United goal, rolled out wide where Craig Dawson was tripped, and a penalty given by referee Simon Hooper, but overturned by our old friend VAR upon review because Dawson was about 6 millimetres offside. It looked, but anyway, West Ham going into the break ahead. Rio, a decent half for the Hammers, and we've got a second half to look forward to, haven't we?
Yeah, considering where we was in terms of numbers, considering there's a lot more changes again, and it's been a bit of a disjointed couple of weeks in terms of personnel. It's not the most amazing performance, but it's a good, solid one. There's plenty to be looked at in a positive frame of mind now. I think Lingard's been excellent. His movement has been superb. He's created a few chances. we've rid our luck a couple of times. We let Sheffield United get back into it about on the half-hour mark. They get a foot in the game.
Yeah.
A couple of little bits of sloppy pieces defending by Issa, which is a bit of a worry. But we rode the storm, and once we got the penalty, we're much a better side. You know, we've pretty much controlled it apart from that 5-10 minute spell.
Fully deserved then, Rio, judging by that?
For me, yeah, definitely. You know, we've been the much better side. You know, they really haven't troubled us. The biggest concerns for us have all come from the defensive errors and defensive lack of concentration. Even the 2 corners that they got, we see Issa kind of mistime a header. Fabianski have a little bit of a flap, but yeah, their forward play hasn't really troubled us. It's been their own doing most of the time.
Good stuff. Thank you, Rio. Pinky, West Ham United won Sheffield United 0 at half-time. Decent half for the Hammers.
Yeah, decent enough half by West Ham. I mean, if anything, I think we're playing well within ourselves. I think we look, of the 2 teams, the side that could go up a couple of gears if need be. My only disappointment, you know, that as things stand at this precise moment, there's only 31 points in the league table between the 2 teams. And it's disappointing that really we've allowed Sheffield United to get that close to us this season, because they don't deserve to. They don't deserve to be in this division. So tonight, the big news at half-time from the London Stadium is West Ham are currently sitting in 4th place in the Premier League on 42 points. A very famous number, obviously, for our club, because we've seen clubs get relegated on that points tally. But, you know, we're well in control of this game tonight. Disappointed we're not a couple of goals to the good. You know, I think, in fairness, the first penalty, he was offside. Offside's offside. So I wouldn't complain too much about that. But I think, for me, the big talking point in the first half was the assault that was carried out by the Sheffield United player on Jesse Lingard for the penalty. And if you're not going to get a red card for that, what are you going to get a red card for? And there's something seriously wrong. There was no attempt to play the ball, nothing of that nature. Yet it was a challenge that could have caused a serious injury to a player. And who knows? I mean, that could lead to all sorts, lawsuits and damages claims and all sorts, you know. But we're not mean and petty and spiteful like that, are we, Mr. McCabe? We play for points on the pitch, not score points in the courtroom. So, yeah, good first half for us and plenty more in the tank, sir.
The half-time stats, possession, West Ham 50, Sheffield 50%. West Ham 6 shots to Sheffield's 2. West Ham 4 shots on target. Sheffield 1, West Ham 2 corners, Sheffield 4. And West Ham, have committed 8 fouls to Sheffield's 4. We'll come on to that penalty incident in just a moment because I want to have a good look at that. But before we do that, Gnome, overall, pleased with what you've seen so far in the opening 45 minutes there as West Ham go into the break ahead?
Yeah, playing as well you could be expected. Obviously, the not having a striker thing is always a worry. But the front 3 is sort of, they're kind of rotating a little bit. So if one's actually pushing further forward, another will sort of step to the side a little bit. The move that led to the penalty, which we haven't actually spoken about, was a delightful move, some lovely one-touch football. To be honest, I mean, I'd have sacrificed the penalty if we could have got a goal from that, because it would have been one of the best goals we've seen all season. The passing in it was superb. But we'll take it. As I say, I won't talk about the penalty incident itself just yet, because I don't want to preempt what we're going to talk about. But I think they started, I wouldn't say strongly, but they started sort of fairly well. But if you're at the bottom, you're 14 points away from safety. You're gonna, a goal's going to sort of take a bit of the stuffing out of you. Now they're just showing the build up again, and it was Lingard won the ball. some nice play, a lovely play between Lingard and Lanzini, and it was Norwood came in, and well, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Well, I tell you what, let's get onto it now, because it is obviously the biggest talking point of the half. Norwood was the player booked, yes, the Sheffield defender. Now, as I understand it, Gnome, and please correct me if I'm wrong, the rule states that if a genuine attempt at a tackle is made, then it's a yellow card. However, if no attempt at a tackle is made, then it should, by definition of the law, be a red card. So we're assuming that's correct, and looking at what we've seen there, Mr. Hooper has clearly decided that Norwood has made a valid attempt to put in and make a successful challenge. Is that your interpretation, or are you like Pink, sort of wondering why he's still on the pitch?
I can't put it perfectly.
Thank you.
That didn't look like a genuine attempt to play the ball to me. It had all the smacking of he's going to shoot here if I don't take him out, and it was he just threw himself in there. So you'd hope that one of the whole points of VAR would be, you've seen it happen when you look at that. He'll give the yellow, and VAR will then sort of have another look at it.
Now we believe VAR did look at it. I think that we're correct in saying that VAR did have a quick look at it. But happy with the yellow. Strange. Yeah.
Do you think that was a genuine attempt to play the ball?
No, well, I mean, I agree with you and Pinky. I think it was, to me, it was exactly as you've described it, kind of one of those, almost a Sunday league challenge where the player's through, the player's about to pull the trigger, and you deliberately trip him and bring him to ground. And I can't see any reason why it's a yellow card.
They might miss a penalty. He won't miss that unless I take him out. I just think it's a very odd decision. I mean, clearly the referees thought that was a genuine attempt to play the ball, which and clearly VAR seen nothing in there to say you might want to have another look at that, mate. I've just seen it again. He's just thrown himself at him, hasn't he? The ball's there. Last time I
saw a challenge like that, Kendo Nagasaki went straight through Mick McManus as he got in the ring on the World of Sport. I mean, Dickie Davis was doing that at the time. I mean, I know the rugby started this weekend, and maybe the referee and the refs in Stockley Park have got like a Sunday job watching rugby. But where was the legitimacy in any way, shape, or form on a football field of that challenge? Let's call it what it is. It was a dangerous challenge that could have seriously injured one of our players.
Yeah.
And it was utterly reckless. And that just gets a yellow. What is this, sympathy for Sheffield United? Is it the referees scared of a lawsuit? Have the FA told them to be careful because Sheffield United have got form about threatening to take people to court? I mean, how deep does this sort of litigation mentality within Sheffield United go? Not that it does you any good on 11 points, foot of the table, 31 points behind West Ham, if you're watching in Sheffield. Yeah, I mean, it's a shocking challenge. And if this ends up a draw, and you just know it'll be Norwood who gets the goal, and there's your headline for tomorrow, because he shouldn't be on the pitch. In all seriousness, he shouldn't be on the pitch.
So that's Rio, Gnome and Pinky agreeing that Norwood, no way should he still be on the pitch. Interesting. David O'Rourke's commented on the live chat on YouTube and just says that he thinks the only thing that saved Norwood was the fact that Lingard cut to his left after the initial lunge was made. But even so, saying that he also agreed that it was it should have been a red card. Do you see any reason, Rio, why he's still on the pitch? And do you think that's a bit of a stupid rule? That it's yellow for one and red for another, depending upon if it's deemed to be deliberate or not.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Anywhere else on the pitch, he would have been given a red. But I think the fact that we've won a penalty through it, they've kind of gone, oh, well, penalty, we'll let him off for a yellow. And that's the only reason, because we won the penalty during the incident. There's no attempt to play the ball. Pinky said it's incredibly dangerous. What justification has he got to be still on our pitch? It's just there's no rhyme or reason to it. And it's another thing that if this is a new rule implemented this season, that because you're getting a penalty awarded, that you can't send a player off, then it's another nail in the coffin of football, isn't it? Because where's the justice in saying in the next half that he pops up at the other end, notches the equaliser? You know?
Yeah.
It just makes
law
no
has been
sense
in
to
for a
me.
few years now, Rio, though. It's not a new thing. And the thought behind it is that, you make one foul, you could end up with not just double, but triple jeopardy. You get the penalty, you get a goal, and the player sent off. So
fair enough.
I'm not saying I agree with it. Saying I agree with it. The so-called profession. But the thing is in there for the sort of the slightly mistimed channel that isn't a deliberate attempt to deny a goal-scoring opportunity.
Yeah.
That I can understand. You slightly mistime a tackle, sort of somewhere in the box but out on the edge. Then if you go if every penalty had a sending off, you'd be getting stupid sendings off. But the denial of goal scoring opportunity thing is in there to prevent the sending off. There is still there available to somebody who's deliberately taken a player out in the while he's shooting to prevent a goal. And I think that I'm not against the double or triple jeopardy rule itself, but I think that shouldn't have been a point in point at this point, because the guy did not make any attempt to play the ball.
Yeah. And
he's made no attempt. Plus, we're forgetting the biggest thing of all. They play for Sheffield United. They should not only have sent him off, but they sent us his captain off for letting him onto the pitch and do that kind of thing. Send the bastards down.
Call me old-fashioned, but anybody wearing a pink shirt on a football pitch should be done for what they no longer call ungentlemanly conduct.
Well, interestingly, gentlemen, it was spotted by a friendly journalist at the ground that Chris Wilder was seen having a word, shall we say, with the officials as they approached the tunnel at half-time. So the Sheffield United manager clearly not happy about something that occurred in the first half, and it seems unfathomable, I think, to think it could have been anything to do with a penalty. But anyway, Mr. Wilder not happy there. I've got Gnome's favourite stat for you at half-time, XG stat at half-time. I know Gnome's been looking forward to this one with some anticipation. It is West Ham 1.21, Sheffield United 0.06. So, that's an indication of just how much the Blades have threatened Lucas Fabianski's goal in the first half there. Someone also agreeing that West Ham deserve to be in front is Lee Dixon, the former Arsenal defender who's now working as a pundit. He also agrees, says it was definitely a penalty, and he thinks at half-time both managers will say that the score is about right and a fair and an accurate representation of what happened in the first half there. The question is, of course, do the fans think that? Rio, what do the West Ham United supporters posting on the KUMB.com forum match thread think about that first half? They think West Ham are justified in leading at half-time, and any views about the penalty there?
There's plenty of chat about the penalty. Yeah, plenty of chat about the pen, as you'd understand. There's a lot of positives going on.
We're underway, by the way.
Okay, sorry, my stream is frozen. We'll keep an eye on it for us now, just in case. But let's have a quick look at the forum there. Rio, what's the outstanding comments?
Brother Nero's put no real complaints about that first half. Looked good going forward. Was something to see Declan take the penalty, but he dispatched it easily. Still nervous as hell so a nice early second half goal would put the 2 up, and it would be very much welcome. What 359's put an interesting little stat up. Distance stats are interesting. It states that the So lazy Lanzini has covered the third greatest distance of all the players on the pitch. That's really good to see. Rio Ferdinand's taking a little bit of stick on the form as well, because he really doesn't seem happy that we're up into fourth as it stands. We're clearly not his favourite United. Rich 5 litres put, so just to help me, because I've only been watching football for 55 years and only played for 20 years. If you accidentally tangle with an attacker and give away a penalty, you get sent off. If you bundle them over intentionally, you stay on. Is that correct? Kit the Cars put, they maintain a level of press and physicality. We need to switch on a bit more and match them. We also need to be a bit better with our passing. Lingard, on the other hand, is another level. So, yeah, there's a few interesting comments thrown about all sorts of topics.
Good stuff. Well, we'll keep an eye on the forums for you throughout the second half just to see what's been said. The game, as Gnome did point out, while we were all sort of enjoying the half-time debate, has kicked off again. Second half, West Ham leading Sheffield United by 1-0. Pinky is keeping an eye on the Sheffield United S24 SU forum. They were all a little bit despondent when we last took a look at that, Pinky, and they were level at that point. So I can only imagine that they're even less happy now.
It's like a greasy chip butty. This is just slipping through their hands. You know, the whole concept. I mean, this is marvelous reading tonight. I'm actually going to register and join this website because I think. Can I urge all West Ham United supporters who are tuning in tonight to join this Sheffield United one and just to stir the pot? Call yourself something like, you know, curried rice or something like that in tribute to Tony Curry. But I mean, basically, they are so deluded. They actually think they're a Premier League club, and they think that actually the time for Chris Wilder has been and gone, and that he's the problem. You know, so plenty of criticism of Wilder, plenty of criticism of Norwood in particular,
yep.
And you're struggling to find a single positive comment on here anywhere. You know, the comedy gold one's always gone about the money side of it. There's another one here. If only we had two £20 million strikers on the bench to bring on. You know, I mean, seriously, West Ham United supporters, please. Go to your post office, buy a postal order for £1 and send it to Sheffield United. Because just £1, if we all do it, could pay their milk bill for a week. I mean, you know, has ever a club been more shameless about scrounging money off other football clubs, whinging about how hard up things are and all the rest of it? I mean, it's shocking stuff from the Blades fans tonight. It's, you know, it's all there for them to see tonight. They're not good enough. They've got 11 points after 24 matches this season.
Yep.
That's reality. And there's no escaping it. They're going down, and deservedly so. They've been a poor team all season. They're poor this evening, and good riddance to them. Yeah, good riddance.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to take more than a great escape to save Sheffield United Gnome tonight, but it does look like they're about to introduce a change. I think we saw a player, was it McBurney, just warming up on the touchline there?
McBurney was receiving instructions. They've come out going forward a bit. So the cross comes in, but it's far too long, and Johnson will bring it away. They had one little chip ball that Fabianski had to be awake for earlier on, but yeah, they're not hanging about with the changes. Say no changes at half time for either side, but there's certainly McBurney's now down there on the touchline, waiting to come on. Be interested to see where the change is, but well, we've gone 5 minutes without conceding a goal in the second half, which is always our worry, coming out cold. So let's just keep it calm as we are at the moment.
Yeah, we've been a little better in that regard, haven't we, Gnome, in the last couple of games?
Last couple of weeks, yeah. I think it probably, things have been said, you know, when, you know, you've got to be ready and waiting, sort of ready to go second that whistle goes, not 10, 15 minutes into it. Ball's finally gone out for a throw-in, and so I think we may see the substitution being made now.
Okay.
Or maybe not. No, maybe not. But Bernie was certainly getting his instructions, and he had his kit on. So obviously they're going to give it another minute or two.
The first 5 or 6 minutes successfully navigated here by West Ham at the start of the second half. The Hammers leading by 1-0. The only goal of the match so far coming from Declan Rice from the penalty spot. Yes, you didn't hear me incorrectly. From the penalty spot, West Ham finally scoring from 12 yards. The only goal of the game so far. Sheffield, as Gnome pointed out, they're looking perhaps to make a change. I mean, it's an interesting one, that, Pinky, isn't it? Because they've looked pretty lively since since the interval, and I just wonder whether that might upset them a little bit.
Yeah, I think they're in the desperation zone now, whereby hang on, they've got a great chance here. Oh, good save.
What a save.
McGoldrick there is headed. I mean, he really should score. And this is what happens in relegation seasons. I mean, we've seen it often enough. When you're down there at the bottom, you're down on your luck. No one loves you. No one really wants to be there. And you get the few opportunities you get, and they won't quite go in. And it's such a shame. Poor old Sheffield United. But no, they're in the desperation zone. And McGoldrick's headed the ball there. It's come off. Was it Johnson's back? I think it was.
Johnson, I think, wasn't it? Yeah.
And then Fabianski tipped it over. And so
Johnson,
we'll be looking at that going, how unfair it all is, and will it not just go in? And the answer is, when you're bottom of the table, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Any team that's ever been relegated, they'll tell you that's your season in a nutshell. And they could change all 11 players right now if Wilder had the option. It's not going to make a difference.
Yeah. Closest Sheffield United have come to scoring, of course, there. A great save from Lucas Fabianski. West Ham carved open, really, for the first time in the match so far. But fortunately for the Hammers, the header by McGoldrick, as we said, deflected by Johnson and tipped over brilliantly by Lucas Fabianski. Rio, Fabianski, not an awful lot to do tonight, but, once again, like at Fulham, really, I think last week, when he's needed, he's there again, isn't he?
Yeah, that's how he earns his money, isn't it? Now, we've seen a little few frailties creeping into Fab's game over the last 18 months or so. But he's still a wonderful shot stopper, and that save there was worth its weight in gold. So, well done, Fab. We'll keep you up, mate.
Yes, great stuff. And Gnome, there we are inside that. We said about once again the first 10 minutes. We said a few minutes ago that the Hammers had successfully navigated that first few minutes and almost left with a bit of egg on our face there. But fortunately, Fabianski coming and doing the business.
We're playing a bit deep. We're playing a bit too deep for this. Having said, at least we are defending well, sort of thing. We're not defending half asleep. But I think I'd rather go back to what we were doing in the first half, which was taking the game a little bit more to them. But we're sitting there. As Rice brings the ball right, let's come away and let's do this quick. That's a lovely ball from Johnson inside the fullback. Lingard's now bearing down the area. Just runs into trouble, and Sheffield United can bring it away. What a ball from Johnson, though. Playing from inside to out, bisecting a couple of players, and Lingard making the superb run. Just a shame he couldn't have any product at the end of that.
Yeah. Also, Gnome, the tackle by Rice just a few moments before, crunching tackle.
Yeah.
Superb from Deckers again.
Yeah.
We have to
just good play there from Diop.
Yeah,
just as we said that, where ball was played sort of in the channel to Sharp. Diop got goal, managed to get himself goal side, and Sharp just had no chance getting the ball other than to flatten Diop. But that was good play from Diop because he had to get goal side. He wasn't already goal. The right side of the ball.
Yes, very alert, wasn't he? Very alert there.
Now it's a change thing, mate.
Okay, who have we got?
So that's McBurney. Now, finally, McBurney's down. He's gone down to the touchline. Although I thought they were going to bring him on at that throw-in, but they didn't. So, but he's finally coming on. I guess they had that few minutes where they were getting a lot of the ball in advanced positions, and I think Wilder might have thought, well, let's see what we can do here, but it's not happening for him, and I think he's finally been persuaded to make the change.
I mean, the key difference between the first half and now, the work rate in the Sheffield United team has increased noticeably.
Yeah.
First half, there was a complete absence of any serious press at all. This time around, when we're playing the ball along our back line, they do at least try and come and press and force the error. So they're working a good deal harder than they were in the first half. Personally, I don't think it'll be enough for them. I think they need more than that. Lovely ball there. Oh, yeah, good block in the end by the Sheffield United defender from a Bowen shot, corner at West Ham. But I was just looking at Jesse Lingard a minute or two ago. I think he looks pretty gassed, you know. I think he looks like he's a little bit out of puff, Jesse Lingard, and I just wonder if he might be a player that, despite having a brilliant first half, he might be the first sub to go this evening.
Yeah, I don't know if that's anything to do with the fact. I mean, about 2 minutes ago, I think it was, Pinky, we saw him chase the ball down, didn't we, from inside our own half, right through to the goalkeeper. And just wonder, maybe he's recovering from that a little bit. But he certainly, you know, you wouldn't, or you would understand if he was, because, as we said, you know, recently he's not been playing.
Yes.
Oh, we have a goal. We have a goal.
Yes. While you were going, it was a corner to West Ham. There was a nice ball played in from Lanzini to Bowen. Bowen's shot was blocked for the corner. Lingard and Cresswell were stood there looking like they might take a short corner, but they didn't. Cresswell curled it to the edge of the 6-yard box, unmarked, or not any noticeable marking on Diop, and gets up, heads it down into the corner. 2-0 West Ham. Good header as well, right into the corner. Nobody's saving that.
The bubbles are blowing at the London Olympic Stadium as West Ham extend their lead to 2. Rio, is that it for Sheffield United? Game over now? Surely the Blades aren't coming back from this, are they?
You would have thought so. You would have thought that's game over. They'd started really brightly in the second half. They put us under the cosh a little bit. We rode it. I can't see where they're getting a goal from. They didn't look like scoring all night. And McGoldrick, their main man up front, he's going back to where he was last season, where he couldn't buy a goal. Surely they're dead and buried now, surely.
Not looking good for the Blades. 2-0 down, 58 minutes gone. And Pinky, we were just saying, weren't we? They'd started pretty brightly in the second half, and wondered if sort of bringing on a player might disrupt their flow a little bit. Certainly hasn't done them any favours, has it?
Well, has he come on now?
But as I said, this is what happens when you're sitting at the foot of the table with 11 points after 24 minutes. And what's their goal difference now? About -4 million, -24, I think that'll be. You know,
well played, Lingard.
It really doesn't matter what they do this evening. It doesn't matter what Chris Wilder tries to change.
Yeah,
it's over. Their stay in the Premier League is at an end, because you can't get away from the fact they're 14 points from safety with 16 games or 14 games to go. You know, there's no escape. And really, I wouldn't be surprised if the players didn't walk off after 80 minutes and just gave up. You know, that's what they should do, really.
Well, another corner to West Ham. I think we have
a corner. No.
Yeah. Lingard went on a 60-yard run that survived a nasty little hack at him to try and bring him down. Got it into the box and forced the corner. Cresswell's on it again. Doesn't really beat the first man this time. Ball's all the way back to the halfway line with Soufal, and well, it's going all the way back now to Fabianski. But that you're looking at Lingard after that run, and it was 60 yards.
Yeah.
He was blowy, and rightly so, because it was a superb run. But
yeah,
a little bit surprised there wasn't a yellow. I don't know who it was, but there was a sort of a hack at him to try and bring him down, which sort of clipped him, but he stayed on his feet and carried on the run. But the referee either didn't see it or chose to ignore it. So now have they brought on McBurney, because he seemed to be looking to come on just before the goal. But I didn't see him actually physically enter the field of play, and I can't see him out there now. But Sheffield United have a header from the edge of the box, but that's meat and drink for Fabianski. So has he actually come on?
I don't now. I'm looking at the Sheffield United Twitter feed because that would be the first place to go for any confirmation. There's nothing on there actually. I thought he had come on because we saw him, preparing to come on. But maybe West Ham scored before they, before he got the opportunity to do that. But we've just seen a chance for Sheffield United anyway. 2-0. Rio, West Ham leading now, looking good for 3 points. Gnome?
Yeah. Did some good work on the Sheffield United left. The ball was cut back to McGoldrick. Shot went over. I think it was. I think Souček actually got in and made the challenge to good cutback, but let's see.
It
wasn't actually McGoldrick at all. Souček just got in front of McGoldrick and put the ball over. Now we're seeing McBurney coming on now, and I think that's Norwood has gone off. So he's gone off before incurring another one, I think. Another yellow. Corner comes in for Sheffield United. All sorts of scrambling in the box, but there's a foot in on. I'm not sure who's gone down there, but it's a free kick to West Ham. Soufal's gone down. Took a kick during one of the wild swipes that there was while it was bobbling around. Maybe see a bit more here. Number 6 got a foot in. It's Basham, and but caught Soufal on the follow through. West Ham making a change now. Lanzini has come ashore, and Mark Noble on, and he's already picked up the armband off Declan Rice. So that wasn't a change I saw coming, I will admit.
No, do you sort of get the feeling, Gnome, that's one where it's an opportunity for Noble to get some minutes in, with the points, one with hope in the bag. And chance to rest Lanzini. And I thought Lanzini was having a fairly decent game himself, but
it's the right stuff. We're 2-0 up. The game's in the bag. Just control the middle of the park. There's no prizes for winning 3-0, 4-0, or 5-0, but there is a penalty for drawing 2-2. And the extra player in the middle there, hang on to the ball, just control the game now and run the clock down. And I know that isn't what most of our supporters would want to hear, but in professional football, it's the play to make.
It's also Lanzini's birthday, so he's probably been taken off so he can go to the restaurant he's booked.
Yes, a little reference there, to no doubt New Year's Eve, I guess, Rio. And,
would I insinuate anything like that? There's better be an Argentinian restaurant open somewhere, isn't there? Legally or otherwise,
Yeah, they're meeting on Zoom, perhaps.
Yeah.
So of course,
Mr.
Lanzini having already been reminded of his responsibilities by the club for breaching the laws on New Year's Eve. No opportunity for Lingard.
Yeah, made some space just outside the box. Got the shot in, but it was straight down the throat of Ramsdale. I think he's had a few minutes breather. He's looking a bit more. 2-0, 25 minutes plus stoppage to go.
Yeah, one substitute made by each team. McBurney coming on for Norwood, and Mark Noble, the skipper, coming on for Manuel Lanzini, whose birthday it is. What is he, Rio? 29, would that be now?
I believe so. I'll just check up. I think it is.
So our congratulations to Manu on his latest birthday, and what a great way to celebrate it that would be with a West Ham win. And Pinky, it's we're not exactly cruising to victory here, are we? But I've got to admit that this could be the kiss. No.
There goes Lingard again. He's been fouled a couple of times. The referee's tried to let advantage go there, but eventually he gets
yellow card.
Pulled down. I'd have thought it was a
deliberate foul.
There's a yellow in there. The pull back earlier on, deserving of a yellow there, but not given. But every time he gets the ball and he picks up the ball, he's picking up the ball just outside our box, maybe 10, 15 yards outside our box. He's turning and they've got no answer to him as he bursts forward. Sorry, for a second, McGoldrick might be in there, but Dawson's waking up.
Jesse Lingard brought his run brought to a crashing end there. Bit of a sandwich, a bit of filling in a pink sandwich. But nothing given by the looks of it. But anyway, 67 minutes gone, just coming up to 67 minutes gone. West Ham United 2, Sheffield United 0. The goals coming from Rice and Diop either side of the half-time interval. And the Hammers, I was going to say there, Pinky, you can never feel too comfortable as a West Ham fan leading 2-0, but I don't think I've sort of felt this relaxed about leading 2-0 in a match for a while. There doesn't seem to be much chance of, as I was going to say, I know this is almost like the kiss of death, but Sheffield United look like a beaten team.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of cruelty in our play because the occasional, what to the untrained eye might appear a loose pass, is actually just our lads, poking fun at McGoldrick and putting a ball loose enough so he's got to chase it without ever really having a chance of getting to it. And we just recover possession. We're doing that every couple of minutes just to run him out of puff. And it's quite funny to watch, actually. I mean, we're well in control of this game. No doubt about it at all. And
Hang on.
There you go. Unchallenged header and heads it down, does everything right, and of course Fabianski saves it. And I repeat my point earlier, when you're where they are in the league table, this is what happens, and there is nothing you can do to change it. It's just an unwritten rule of football.
I'm not over happy with Cresswell being the one to mark McGoldrick because McGoldrick's about a foot taller, but it showed with that one. But I mean, McGoldrick, as the camera sort of panned on him as he came away from that, he had that look of somebody who's thinking, why couldn't I be injured? Now Lingard's that's Johnson on the run now. Johnson's looked lively today, I think, as well. But again, it's with Lingard and Sheffield United looking terrified. Actually, Lingard gives it away now, kiss of death there. But every time Lingard gets the ball, he's got space and time to sort of weigh up what he wants to do. There's almost you can see the look of terror. Sheffield United sort of like suddenly sort of drop back a foot or two, and it's like, oh yeah.
We're coming up to the last 20 minutes. West Ham leading 2-0. Rio, Don Hutchison, remember him, has just posted on Twitter to say that Craig Dawson might just be the signing of the season for anyone in the Premier League. What do you make of that?
I just don't think he's watched enough of Vladimir Soufal, to be honest. As much as I like Dawson, the impact he's had has been tremendous. I still think Soufal has been the better player for us this season. When you look at the money thrown around in the Premiership, you're going to get much better value than them two.
Lingard's on a mission. Some fine work on the left from Johnson. Plays the ball inside to Lingard, looks up. 1 touch, 2 touch away from his body. And Ramsdale had to be awake for that, to just dipping in front of him as well. Turns it around for a corner. Another corner to West Ham.
You suspect Lingard fancies a goal tonight? No?
Taking short this time. Lingard's on it, back on the ball now. Gets the cross in, goes deep, headed up and to the edge of the box, and Sheffield United can possibly bring it away. But Diop's there to keep things running, and Lingard's tripped up again. They've got no answer to Lingard. They really haven't. Free kick to West Ham, fairly wide position out on the touchline. That's Lundstrom. Yeah, just caught his trailing leg, and I'll see
Just
what.
an observation on their keeper. He's got a tendency when a shot's unleashed on him or anything that's struck directly at him, he tends not to catch it cleanly. It's always parried, either knocked to the side or in front of him. He's the keeper where you've got to be alert, and where a classic number 9 would be following in every single time. You know, and I just think opposition.
Oh, here we go. Oh, free kick was eventually taken. Cresswell put it in. Bit of a scramble clearance. They're bringing it away now, Sheffield United. But for a second, it looks it might be interesting. The Sheffield United break comes to nothing. Flounders at Diop, and now Souček's looking for help in the middle, going forward again. And we got one over on the line. Ball goes down to Soufal out on the right. Low cross played in, but it's easily blocked. It wasn't the greatest crosses from Soufal there. But we're looking. We're playing the ball gently, and then when we look interested in really going forward, we're looking as if we might score every time. And yeah, he doesn't hold on to the ball cleanly, Ramsdale. So far, he has been, however, pushing it away from danger. Now, oh, that's a save. Sorry, Soufal found himself clean one-on-one with the keeper. He was looking to square it, and in the end decided to shoot. And keeper stuck out an arm and put it away. A third goal, dare I say it, looks like coming any minute. Yeah, should have scored there. I mean, keeper did well to stand up and block it, but it was a good interception from Soufal. But as he's going through, he's looking 2 or 3 times to see if he can square it rather than shoot. And the shot was his last option. You've got the feeling he didn't want to shoot that. Corner from Lingard. And again, it's not convincingly cleared, but Soufal, I think, has just caught a defender there, so that'll be a free kick to Sheffield United. I can see a third coming if we want it.
Great stuff by Ramsdale there. A great save from Soufal, who, as Gnome rightly pointed out, always looked to be looking to his left for an option to pass the ball. Not coming there, but not that it really mattered. Anyway, West Ham leading 2-0 here. Interesting comment from John Hartson, also posting on social media this evening. The former Hammers number 9 saying, "I've not seen a player have such an impact on a team like Lingard has on West Ham for about 24 years. Rio, I wonder who he could possibly be referring to there."
I try to think. Surely he's not referring to himself, is he?
It must be Paul Kitson, surely.
Paul Kitson, yeah.
We're 15 or 16 minutes to go now. West Ham, Pinky, time for another change, do you think, here?
Yeah, I was just thinking of which keeper have we got on the bench tonight?
I think it's Martin.
Could we put Odabiku in goal to really take the key?
Yeah, I'd actually bring him on as an outfield player. Seriously. I'd actually say to him, I'd say, get warmed up. When he's warmed up, I'd say, right, where have you always really wanted to play? You know, when you were a kid, when you were a schoolboy, where did you really, because no one ever really wants to be a keeper. Yeah. And he'll probably say, well, actually, Mr. Moyes, or boss or gaffer, I kind of fancy myself as a striker or whatever it may be. And Moyes could say, well, funny enough, we just happen to be looking for strikers, so let's see what you can do. Yeah. And I would just stick him on up top, yeah, and just turn to Chris Wilder and just say, look, let's bury the hatchet about the £30 million you basically extorted from West Ham United Football Club as Sheffield United. You know, we'll let bygones be bygones, and we'll give you a chance by putting our reserve keeper on for the last quarter of an hour as a striker. I'd actually do that, because do you know what? We'd still beat this Sheffield United team because they have been poor beyond belief. You know, they're barely championship standard. they're really poor tonight, and I don't think they deserve to be in this division a second longer
Just
than
say
they
that Billy Sharp must be very, very close to getting a yellow for persistent foul play. In the last couple of minutes, he tried to get on the end of a long ball, which Diop did well, got himself between ball and player, so he fouled Diop. Dawson's just come across the clear, and he's just thrown himself in on Dawson. He must be close. I think one more of those, and I think the referee might well remember what the word persistent in the phrase persistent foul play means.
30.5 minutes left to go. West Ham 2, Sheffield 0. Anton Ferdinand, another former Hammer, posting on social media tonight, says, "We are on fire. I cannot lie." I presume he's talking about West Ham, as he says, "Come on, you irons," afterwards. But the ex-Hammers in there, Rio, we're all pretty happy about what they're seeing tonight so far. But yeah, sorry, Rio, that one was it you? But
sorry, Miles. I
don't think you heard that. Yeah, just saying the ex-Hammers pretty happy with what they're seeing out there so far. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, why wouldn't you be? What is there to moan about? My only negative from the whole of tonight's proceedings is Soufal not finishing off that chance, because I'm just desperate for him to score. I'd just love to see the celebrations, because he looks like an absolute psychopath. So I'm just wondering if you'd do kind of a Martin Allen style lap around an empty stadium. But it's been great to watch tonight.
I'm just wondering who had the best death stare out of Soufal and Thomas Repka, because obviously Repka was particularly well known for that, wasn't he? But Soufal's got the look, hasn't he? I mean, he's definitely a challenger for the throne, I think. Yeah,
he's borderline there. I've said to a couple of friends, he looks like one of the psychopaths you get in the pub, who sits at the end of the bar. You just dare not approach him, because you just know if you could even say good morning, good afternoon, whatever, he'd just snap and just flip, and you have a pint glass over your head. He's got that look about him.
There you go. Let us know who you think was who had the best stare out of Thomas Repka and Vladi Soufal. But anyway, getting back to matters on the pitch, 78 minutes gone. West Ham United 2, Sheffield United 0. The Hammers cruising to fourth place as things stand. Chelsea, who can deny Hammers a fourth place spot by the end of the evening, don't kick off till 8 o'clock this evening. So by the time that one begins, the Hammers could have that position secure. And Pinky, it's not looking like we're troubled at the moment, does it? We're kind of cruising towards that fourth spot as things stand, and above Liverpool once again.
Yeah, and I actually don't think we've played that well tonight. Collectively, I think there's been one or two standout performances, but the collective effort I don't think has been quite as crisp as we've been in some weeks. Particularly in transition, I think we've been a little bit stodgy compared with when we're at our very best. So I think we've played within ourselves. I think we've done what's needed to be done. I can't see in these last 10 minutes Sheffield United getting out of this. So yeah, I think this looks like it'll be a comfortable 3 points, touch wood, and above Liverpool, 24 games gone, fourth spot. You can't really argue with that on the money David Moyes hasn't spent this evening. I mean, I know the chairman's had a bit of a spending spree on Said Ben Rahman and what have you, but the manager, he's kept his money firmly in his pocket and said, you know what, I'll wait till sunnier times. It's another header that Sheffield United have got in on goal, and you can say, well, maybe if there's a weakness in our team, the fact that we don't have our Bonner on the pitch, I think we lack a little bit of his leadership in the back line, and better teams might have punished us. But against this Sheffield United team, do you know what? Pick any one of us four, stick us in our back line. We're still not giving them a goal. Not happening.
No, it's a free header. I think was it the substitute McBurney? I think found himself in acres of space there in between our two centre halves. But Fabianski once again got hands to deny Sheffield United. So it remains 2-0 to the Hammers. Gnome.
Yeah. Yeah, some good moves there. Noble Souček fed in Lingard, and there's a last-ditch challenge. I think the referee's given a goal kick, but it's certainly a bit of a blocking challenge. One thing I think you might want to keep an eye out for, a few seconds ago, during that, just before that last Sheffield United attack with a header, I think Bowen got a slight little clip to the ankle. He was hobbling. He seems to, he seemed to have recovered enough to get up to join the attack just then. But we're looking at Benrahma coming on for the last 9 minutes plus stoppage. Now we'll and it's Lingard, I think, is trudging off, and yeah, he's had a fine game, Lingard, I have to say, and Benrahma's come on for the last, to say, 9 minutes plus stoppage. So Lingard looking a little bit not cheesed off, but well, now the Sheffield United player who's down, I can't see who it is, but they've got the buggy and the stretcher there, so this may be something a little bit more serious than anticipated.
The guy in the white hazmat suit, he's there to do the full. They've got the full CSI before the lawsuit. He's there to gather all the evidence, get the witness statements. Yeah, they're getting ready for a court battle already, Sheffield United. You can't say they're unprepared. They're ready to take us all the way to the House of Lords. And why not?
Oh, the ref's going to get his aerosol out and mark around the body, is he?
I think that's Egan. Egan certainly got a blocking on that shot, which I feel should have been a corner. But in getting the blocking, that looks a bit serious, actually, because they're immobilising. They've got the immobilising stuff on there by the looks of things. So hopefully, well, I hope that's not as serious as it looks for the poor lad, because I don't like seeing, having had injuries myself. I'm never one to wish injury on people, but he certainly won't be playing any further part in the game. Just trying to see who they might be bringing on. That's 15. Oh, it's Jagielka, right? This is looking very serious. As I say, we hope that's not. Let's say hope it's not as serious as it looks, but I fear it may be.
Jagielka, of course, one of the players who had quite a bit to do on that final day of the season we were referring to all those years ago, if you remember rightly. Playing a major part, but yes, it's quite concerning to see. It's almost, it's an interesting makeup from the guy in the white suit, almost looking Dexter-esque for anyone who's watched that series, almost quite forensic. It's sad to see being carried off the foot. Just wonder if that's a broken ankle or something like that. But the only thing that makes you wonder about that is that he didn't seem to object too strongly, the player, did he? He sort of went down and a little bit of a yelp, but with something like that, if it is a break, you expect to see
whatever caused it. Yeah, it's got one of those slab things on, so it cushions around the back I'm guessing. Yeah, exactly. That's just what I was thinking. Which bizarrely, when you do it, it doesn't actually hurt that much. I speak from bitter experience. It's just you can't walk, you can't put any weight on your leg. It just collapses underneath you. So that'll be a fair chunk anyway of the rest of the season for him. Anyway, we're underway again. Anyway, so we're going forward, and Benrahma's get his first touch of the ball. Plays it out wide now central to Soufal, but now it's with Souček on the right-hand side of the box, looking for a bit of help, not really finding any, so he's got the ball down the corner flag, probably try and get a corner, doesn't quite get it, but wins the ball back. Plays it nicely to Soufal. Plays it into Souček, some lovely play with check there, but there's nobody in the box there for once, and it's back in the hands of Ramsdale. Some nice little play between the two checks there.
We are into the final 5 minutes of regulation time here at the London Olympic Stadium. West Ham United cruising as things stand towards fourth place in the Premier League, leading Sheffield United by 2-0. The goals coming from Rice and Diop either side of the half-time whistle. West Ham have made a couple of substitutions. Noble coming on for Lanzini and Lingard being replaced by Ben Rama. Quick word about Lingard, Pinky. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic against Villa. Very, very quiet against Fulham, but had a great game tonight. Really back to his best.
I thought first half he was absolutely outstanding this evening, Lingard. And without damning with faint praise, I'd have been seriously concerned had it been Chris Wilder in the first half at the amount of time and space they gave no end of our players on the ball. And if you give a player of Jesse Lingard's pedigree time and space, he'll murder you, because players like him have got all the skills in the world. They've got plenty of movement. They've got good footwork. And he was very, very good indeed in the first half. But I think what we saw against, I think was at Fulham, whereby where teams don't give you the same amount of freedom, then they're less effective. But tonight, Lingard was excellent. For me, the other big positive tonight has been Johnson at fullback. Again, good minutes on the pitch for him. He's looked absolutely solid this evening. Done very little wrong. And if you take something from tonight, from a West Ham perspective, that would be the big positive tonight. Other than the 3 points, is a youngster's got some minutes under his belt and never really looked troubled. So very, very comfortable in the end this for West Ham. Very comfortable.
Couple of points.
Just had a corner that swung across the box and averted by Sheffield United. Just touching, Gnome, one for you, this one. The foul by Lundstrom on Johnson a few moments ago. Possible red, maybe that one. Very, very high on the shin.
Yeah, it caught on the back of the leg, really. I think. Sorry, just saw Benrahma trying to go through the eye of a needle there. I think it was one of those, though, where the ball was there to be aimed at. But yeah, there's certainly studs up. But I don't think it was. I think it would have been a harsh red, but yellow. I think just about right for me for that one. I was going to say that that came from. It was a ball that Johnson was sort of getting away from Johnson, and Johnson stretched, got there first. Yeah. We had a corner just there whilst Pinky was talking, which Sheffield United do not look like they can defend corners, and very fortunate to get away with that one as it's bouncing around the box. But yeah, back in play now, and we're in the last minute. I reckon there'd be a good 5 minutes, maybe 6 even. We had the injury to Egan, who went off, and obviously various substitutions as well. So I'd say 5 or 6, but we'll find out very shortly.
Yes, West Ham on their way to fourth in the Premier League, Rio, by the looks of things, barring any late disasters here. And, I think Pinky summed it up pretty well, didn't he? It hasn't been a fantastic performance by West Ham, but it's certainly been adequate and never really, apart from maybe that first 5 minutes of the second half, Sheffield have never really been in this one, have they? Not really had a sniff.
We've not really been tested. Given the circumstances with our injuries, the lack of squad numbers, it's a more than adequate performance, but we haven't had to step out of that first gear into second. Sheffield United haven't really threatened us at all. As you say, that first little spell, when they come out in the second half, they look a bit threatening. A little 5 minute spell in the first. But they've got no real cutting edge. They haven't really tested us at all. It's been a pretty easy day for our defence. It's just exactly what we needed. We had a rejig of formation, rejig of personnel, and thankfully we've not had to exert ourselves too much to kind of counter anything.
Yeah, I think we've just seen 6 minutes added on by the fourth official, Gnome.
Two things to say. Yeah, 6 minutes, as which was what I said. So well done, me. Sheffield United tried to walk the ball into the net now, and McGoldrick just had the ball whipped off his toe there by Souček, corner to them, and it's gone all the way out for a goal kick on the other side. So, but yeah, 6 minutes looks about right. The other thing I was going to say is that I think we're about to bring on Fredericks, who was hovering around on the touchline, and it's Johnson's going to be the one to come off. So I think that might be. Johnson's had a fine game, and so maybe just feeling a little bit the afters of that that challenge on him, which was certainly some studs in there. But no, he can feel proud of his day's work, can Mr. Johnson. So Fredericks on.
Yeah, done very well, wasn't he, out there today? Yeah. And Fredericks, another player who's been playing pretty well of late. Interesting step for you, gentlemen, as we enter added on time at the end of the match. Phil Jagielka first played for Sheffield United against a David Moyes team in the year 2000. Now, here he's doing it again 21 years later in 2021. How about that for a career? But there you go. And it looks like David Moyes is about to enjoy a win over Jagielka's team once again as we approach the final 3 or 4 minutes of added on time. Hammers cruising at the moment. Sort of time to start perhaps looking at a man of the match. Pinky, what are you thinking? Quite a few decent performances out there tonight.
I mean, for me, it was the standout performance in the first half for me was Jesse Lingard. And I'd go with him for man of the match because, we all like players that can make things happen. They're the players that actually get you off your seat when you're in the ground. And I think Lingard's first half, always in space, always available, plenty of movement from him, linked up play very well with his teammates. For me, I'd give him man of the match, no question.
Some Jesse Lingard stats for you. Jesse Lingard's game by numbers tonight: 17 attempted passes in the final third, 7 attempted take-ons, 5 ball recoveries, 5 shots, 4 of which were on target, 3 successful take-ons, 3 fouls, 1 penalty, 1. Brilliant stuff known from Lingard tonight.
Yeah, sorry, just go all there because Ben Rama got himself in a pretty good position. Hit the cross a bit hard though. With players coming in, it's been shepherded out. I think so. What's a throw away? Excuse me, throw to West Ham. Yeah, some fine stats. I'll stay with the game just a moment because we're pushing forward, and that's a free kick. Noble gets upended right out on the touchline by McGoldrick, who is looking back on this thing. How long till I retire? And we take the free kick short, and it's played down the line, and Soufal doesn't hold on to it. I'm not a fan of us trying to hold the ball in the corner flag mainly because over the years we've never been any bloody good at it. But yeah, sort of get back on. Now Sheffield United are on the attack. I'll talk about Lingard in a minute. Goldrick plays the ball in, but Dawson's there to cut it out for a throw-in. I'm going to slightly disagree with Pinky here on Lingard. I make him man of the match. I agree with that. But Pinky was focusing on his first half performance. I thought he had a decent second half as well, as Bowen's now he tries to play the ball across. He's in the box, and but no, he just runs into trouble. Nearly got it back. But I thought Lingard had a decent second half as well. Every time he got the ball, they looked scared. And I thought he had influence right from the start until he came off. So not just the first half, Pinky.
We are in the final minute of the game. Hammers looking to close it out now. It's been a comfortable victory for West Ham, and one that's going to take the Hammers back into the top 4, and no less, for the first time in February, for the first time ever in Premier League history, apparently. So there you go. A real mark of just how well David Moyes has done this year with the team. Rio, Jesse Lingard, quick word on Jesse before we wrap it up. pleased with
Get
what
it
you've
in,
done tonight?
3-0. Hey.
But before we'll come back to that. Pinky, we have another goal.
Absolutely, some superb work in the left-hand side of the box by Ben Rama. You know, he did the dancing feat. He really did the, you know, he was like Michael Flatley in Lord of the Dance, you know, whatever it was, River Dance. He was doing step over after step over, totally rattled the Sheffield defender. Played a lovely ball inside to Fredericks, teed it up on his right foot, pulled the trigger. Not a great shot, but went inside the post, you know, the near side post, and that's 3-0 West Ham. Good goal.
3-0 it is, virtually the last kick of the game. Rio, we were going to talk about Jesse Lingard, but how's that for an introduction for Ryan Fredericks? He's only been on the pitch for, I make it about 3.5 minutes, and there he is with his first goal of the season, I think.
Yeah, again, as per usual, my stream still hasn't caught up yet. So I'm looking forward to this.
Okay, well, we'll come back to that in a minute, and you can let us know what you thought of the goal in just a few minutes. The final whistle has blown, indeed. 6 minutes added on time played. West Ham United 3, Sheffield United 0. The Hammers scoring in the 41st minute. Declan Rice opening the scoring from the penalty spot. West Ham's first penalty kick of the, well, shouldn't have been, but it was. We'll come back to that in a minute. West Ham's first penalty kick of the season. Issa Diop doubling West Ham's lead in the 58th minute before, as we just said, Ryan Fredericks coming on in the 92nd minute and in the 96th minute, making it 3-0 to cap what has been a pretty decent performance by the Hammers. Yet one in which David Moyes' side would never really put under any pressure at all. And Sheffield United hurtling towards that trapdoor, it would seem. Of course, the Hammers would have had a penalty in the 5th minute as well, had VAR not decreed that Craig Dawson was offside in a review of the incident. Gnome, let's come to you first. West Ham 3, Sheffield 0. The Hammers up to 4th in the Premier League. Sheffield United almost certainly on their way back to the Championship. Couldn't have asked for any more tonight, could we?
Nah, 3-0. I like that score. I like that score against them. Another nail in their coffin. I'm not going to go into a long rant like Pinky, but you know, I agree with the sentiment. And 42 points, which I make us safe from relegation. Probably. I'd like one more to be sure, but doesn't that league table look nice on the screen there? Who's that below us? Oh, Liverpool. All right, yeah. As I say, it wasn't a stunning performance, but it was thoroughly professional.
Yeah.
You know, it was. We had our feet up for most of it, safe in the knowledge that they weren't going to do us any harm. And yeah, I'm happy with that. 3 points, 3 goals. What's not to like?
Very much. Short and sweet from Gnome. Rio, I take it you've had the opportunity to see Ryan Fredericks' goal at West Ham's 3rd now. And what's your immediate assessment of what you've seen out there tonight?
Yeah, I've just seen it. I thought it was a really not that tidy finish, really, from the fullback. So I'm absolutely delighted for him. Overall, we didn't have to get out of second gear. For a game against a team that really absolutely detests us and normally makes things incredibly hard and difficult, it was a bit easy, wasn't it? You know?
Yeah.
And a couple of moments where we had a little couple of doubts, but as I said, start of the second half as per usual, couple of minutes spell in the first half. Apart from that, it was never in doubt. And as I said, what with the rejig side, players coming in, we've lost Antonio Ogbonna through injury, who are massive players for us. It was comfortable, and it's very rarely you can say that about West Ham side. We was incredibly comfortable from the word go, and what with our forward deficiencies, I thought we'd make heavy weather of this, but no, simple as. I hope every single game when we play them, probably in the cups in the future, because they're never coming back, hopefully, is that easy.
Yeah, very much so. I'm just checking the stats actually for Ryan Fredericks. I thought it might be his first West Ham goal, but apparently it's his 3rd goal for the Hammers.
He scored before, yeah.
Yeah, scored previously in the 8-0 humiliation of Macclesfield back in September 2018. And right at the end of that season, he scored in the 3-0 win against, can anyone remember? May 2019? Southampton. We beat Southampton 3-0.
Oh, yeah.
Final home game of the season. Arnautovic scoring twice and Fredericks scoring his first league goal for the club right at the end. But anyway, we digress. Pinky, West Ham United 3. THREE 3, Sheffield United NILZERO, nothing niche. Sounds good, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, the best bit is they've known they've been down since before Christmas Day. You know, I mean, they've had the depression of having to endure almost an entire season of mediocrity, poor football, and the sure knowledge that not even a dodgy lawsuit or threat of one can get them out of this particular hole. And, you know, even as we speak, their lawyers are probably scouring the Premier League for a willing victim that they can phone up and say, look, if you don't give us 30 million quid, we might take you to court, something like that. Yeah. And well, it worked once, so you couldn't blame them for trying a second time. But you know, I mean, on the football front, I mean, just interesting reading through their fans forum.
Yeah.
Seemingly they have spent quite a bit of money, you know, just in the wrong areas. They've bought, what they have bought is of little or no quality. They offered nothing tonight. I mean, I think we probably made them look better than they were, if I'm being honest. I don't think we were anywhere near our best this evening. I think, you know, the number of free headers they had in our box was a bit of concern to me, being serious for a moment. And I think that just illustrates how much we miss Angelo Ogbonna. Better teams than Sheffield United would punish us, given those opportunities. Of that, I'm absolutely certain.
Yeah.
But, you know, you can only beat what's in front of you. And this evening, what was in front of us was a championship standard team that know they're beaten, know they're going down, and will look forward to seeing a half-empty Bramall Lane next season when we're watching championship football on Saturday afternoons or whatever we're all doing. You know, tonight we did enough. We could have done more. Lingard, clearly, for my money, the man of the match. Johnson played very well, did decent enough. My main concern, even though he got the goal, would be Issa Diop as a centre-back. I'll make no secret of it. I don't rate him. I think his decision-making is poor. I think he's one of the reasons we suddenly struggle in the back line. And I think we need to get Ogbonna back on the pitch, PDQ, because looking at some of the games coming up, very winnable game next up, I think it's Tottenham Hotspur, the way they're imploding. I think of our next 4 games, that's probably the easiest. You've then got Man City to follow, dirty Leeds after them, and maybe another winnable game at Manchester United. But, you know, 4 fixtures that are certainly be slightly tougher than Sheffield United. And we need to be better at the back than we were tonight. So we did enough, but don't think it was a good performance, because it wasn't as a team.
Another stat for you before we carry on. Since the turn of the year, West Ham have won 19 points in the Premier League. Played 8, won 6, drawn 1, lost 1. Only Manchester City, with a colossal 27 points, have accumulated more in the competition in this current calendar year. So a measure of just how well West Ham are doing right now. A quick look at the live Premier League table is great viewing if you're a Hammers fan tonight. Man City top of the pile with 53 points from 23 outings. Manchester United, their great rival, second, some 7 points behind with 46 from 24. Leicester also with 46 from 24. And then it's West Ham United with 42 points from 24 games. And what's interesting, actually, is if you look at the table, Liverpool 5th with 40 from 24. And, of course, Chelsea, if they beat Newcastle, can go above West Ham tonight. It's currently 0-0 at Stamford Bridge, just a few minutes into the game. But what's interesting now, I think, is the gap that's beginning to emerge there. I mean, West Ham now 5 points clear of Everton, who, of course, do have 2 games in hand. But you look at Arsenal, West Ham are now 8 points clear of Arsenal. I mean, when was the last time that happened at this stage of the season?
It's not in living memory that I'm having to go back a long, long way. Probably 85, 86 is the first one that stands out.
Yeah.
My only disappointment about that is that we're not further in front of them, because I keep saying it every year, it is the worst Arsenal side in living memory. Mm-hmm. And for the last 5 years, they've declined even further. And we really should be 25 points in front of them lot. They're absolute garbage. Held myself back there. They are garbage.
Very much so. But no, that record I just read out there, West Ham 19 points from 8 games so far in 2021, discounting the cup games. I mean, it's pretty phenomenal, isn't it, so far?
Yeah, it's not bad, is it? Sorry, I was about to mute myself there because Declan Rice has come on, but he's just saying the usual things. You know, we need to push ourselves week in, week out. We need to look forward. We need to look to where we were last season. So there's a bit of pressure amongst the lads and manager to push us forward. Tonight was a massive 3 points. So it's been pointed out. Here's a stat for you. It's taken over 2,000 hours for us to get a penalty.
Wow. Amazing.
That's what they said there. I haven't added that up. That may be a
2,000.
Well, that's what it just came up on the teletext subtitle type thing. I think that might be 200 or whatever, but
that's like 4 years worth of games, isn't it, or something like that?
It feels like 2,000, yeah. So
that's entirely accurate.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm saying I'm obviously watching this on subtitles to avoid the sound clash. So
yeah, maybe 200. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
But,
it's definitely, as you said, it certainly feels like that, Gnome, doesn't it? It's an awful long time since we had a spot kick, and then of course 2 turn up in the same game, and unfortunately only 1 counted. But I mean, we're forgetting the fact that we had one after 5 minutes, of course.
Marginally offside, but I was so shocked because I thought, well, that's a penalty, surely. And I went, it just silenced me, and then it was given, and I was, it is. I've just got to say, I don't bother to appeal for him, you know.
Yeah. No, sorry, coming back to man of the match, I asked Pinky right at the end of the game who he fancied, and he said he felt Lingard was West Ham's standout performer today. Would you go along with that, or do you have someone else in mind?
No, I'll go along with it. Like I said earlier on when you asked me. Pay attention,
did I ask you? I do apologise.
Yeah.
Did I ask you? I know we were talking about Lingard. I don't remember specifically asking you if he was your favourite, but if I did, I do apologise.
I said that I disagreed with Pinky because I thought it was good in both halves. And
I heard that.
So, so definitely Lingard anyway. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, good stuff. So, Rio, are we going to make it 3 out of 3 for Lingard?
Yeah, absolutely. I just thought his intelligence, his running, his energy, his work rate, he's got that little bit of quality about him. I didn't want him here, to be honest. I've never been convinced by him. But I think it's 2 out of the 4 games he's played in, 2 out of 3 games he's played. He's excelled. He's looked like an absolute class above. Yeah. And that's the reason why he's played so long for Manchester United and why he's got 20-odd England caps. You know, he's looking like a class above anything else we have in our midfield at the moment. Yeah. And it's a mark of quality, and he could be the one who pushes onto that, into a little bit further up the table. Just like point out this little fact from Danny Dyer's acting on the forum.
Yep.
We've got 28 points from 12 games against the bottom half of the league, which normally we struggle with that. We can take points off the top teams normally, but when it comes to what were our contemporaries and the teams who we were expected to beat, we often struggle and make hard work of it. So that stat, for me, is really, really promising. And it's a mark of what Moyes is doing to this side.
So what's that? 9 wins, a draw, and 2 defeats. I take it.
I presume so. Yeah, he just got 28 from 12. So, although I don't think we've actually lost to a bottom half team yet. I'll have to do a bit of research on that.
Do Arsenal count? Were they bottom half when that? I don't know how he's working that out. Whether Arsenal were in the bottom half when we were beaten there, I don't know. But I mean, either way, it's an incredible achievement. And this sort of brings me on to something I wanted to say, because we're filling you with stats tonight, but another one for you. After 24 games this season, West Ham have 42 points on the board, 3 more than in the whole of last season. And actually, if you look at the top 5, if you were just taking points in the Premier League for 2021, I mentioned that Man City had 27 so far, West Ham 19. Third, fourth and fifth, you've got Leicester with 17, Manchester United with 16, and Arsenal, actually, funny enough, fifth with 14. But it just goes to show what an incredible, achievement this is by the Hammers so far. And Pinky, the turnaround that David Moyes has brought to this club, it'll probably go unnoticed, because it's only, West Ham going from sort of 15th, 16th, whatever, to, 4th in the table. But it's more than just about points on the board, isn't it? It's a whole new philosophy he's brought into the club. People are buying into it, and whatever he and his backroom staff, and let's not forget the efforts of Irving and Nolan and Pierce, etc. I mean, they're performing mini miracles, aren't they, so far?
It is about a lot more than just the points. I was just thinking there when Declan Rice was giving the post-match interview. There we've got the on-field captain for West Ham United this evening, smiling, joking, very happy. There seems to be a tremendous team spirit in the squad. And maybe one of the secrets of our success this year has been with a relatively small, recognisable first-team squad.
Yeah.
Actually, most of them are getting pitch time most of the time. Either starting or coming on as a substitute. And they always say, it's hard to keep players happy if they're not playing. And sometimes a bigger squad, creates its own problems in itself. So maybe, David Sullivan has hit upon the magic formula of having a happy squad, is just give the manager fewer players. Inadvertently, almost like, a footballing equivalent of the producers, whereby he plans to actually make a mess of everything, but it becomes an incredible success. And I just wonder if having that slightly smaller but always featuring the squad, really helped us. Because the turnaround has been remarkable. Most weeks were quite good in transition. I don't think we were tonight. I thought we were a little bit stodgy. And dare I say it, one of the downsides in having a player like Lingard is because he can make things happen himself. He probably hangs on to the ball a bit longer than what we've seen. But, what a luxury for David Moyes to have. Ben Rama to come off the bench, which to be fair to Sheffield United, they'd have loved to have had that luxury this evening. But he's earned the right to that luxury, because where he has spent money himself, in Soufal, in Souček, in Bowen, he's done well. Those players have not let him down at all. They've generally put in very good performances. He's managing to get a little bit of a tune out of Ryan Fredericks. Where it started the other week when he played him against, I think, Aston Villa it was, and we're doubling up on Grealish and so forth. So, classic management, the definition is achieving results through others. He's got a small squad that is, as a squad, is punching above its weight. There's no question about it. Look at the teams around us. Man City with their untold millions. Manchester United, ditto. Leicester City with the bounty of recent years in the Champions League. Liverpool, last season's champions and one of the richest clubs in the world. Chelsea, bankrolled by a Russian billionaire. Everton, who have spent money like drunken sailors in the last 2 or 3 years. With and Tottenham Hotspur. I'm having a look down the league table now.
Yeah,
Who
remember
else
them.
can I sort of like give a caning to? Dare I say caning? You know, the Harry Kane team, as they're called, Tottenham
Just
Hotspur.
got kind. Yeah.
You know, and look at that. They're drifting to mid-table. Mikel Arteta's Arsenal, 10th spot. You know, with what, £70 million strikers and things like that.
Yeah.
So has David Moyes done a good job? You'd have to say he has. You'd have to, wouldn't you? And dare I say it, the silence from the chairman is both deafening and welcome. We've barely heard a peep out of David Sullivan for a little while, and long may that continue.
Yeah, I think David Gold has been taking to Twitter occasionally recently and still managing to wind people up, hasn't he? By bringing out tweets from last year, you know, rocking the boat when it's completely unnecessary and not needed.
To be fair, when I'm 84, if I've got that much attitude, you'll all be hearing it. You know what I mean? At 84, you can get away with it, you know.
Well, you've got another 50 or so years to wait until we get to that point, Pinky. So it's a long time away yet. The plaudits for David Moyes' team just keep coming. Jonathan Northcroft, the Sunday Times football correspondent, writes tonight that in a season where consistently hitting your best level is almost impossible, two teams have achieved it: Manchester City and West Ham United. Incredible work by David Moyes and his players. Gnome, were you on an interview there? Was there? You
Yes.
were on mute.
Yeah, I was on mute because we heard from David Moyes.
Okay, great stuff. What did the boss have to say?
Firstly, he said, well, Sheffield United played well and they did create chances, but we defended well and we were creating chances of our own and took them. Mentioning the fact that we were without Antonio, it was a case of when injuries have happened, we've had to find ways of dealing with them. He was pleased with Bowen's contribution, and he said one of the things he's liked about the squad is that when players have come in because of injuries over the season, they have made an impact. Johnson was praised as well.
Yeah.
And Diop, again, who said hadn't been playing much lately, but he's come up and had a good game today. Usual little wry grin. He said when he was asked about the fact that, we got 39 points last season, we're on 42 now. What do you think of that? And he said, well, my first thought is that us safe yet? And only half joking, of course, but he said, usually you think of 40. He said, this season I just had an awful feeling there might be a few more that were needed. But again, he said, look, we're not getting carried away. We can play better than that. And I want to see, he said, players have been improving. I want to see that improvement continuing. And, he said the main thing, he said, is looking long term. I think we're laying foundations to produce a string of teams going forward year on year. Okay. And so we don't want it to be just this season, is the gist of what he was saying. So, very, very happy. Clearly would like a few of the injuries to heal up sooner rather than later. But
any word on those, Gnome?
No, didn't make any comment. He wasn't asked. He commented that the players that were out are very important to us. Yeah. But was saying, well, if you've got to find a way around it, then getting onto that point, I thought that worked quite well in a way today. The sort of the false nine thing, because it wasn't just Bowen playing furthest forward. It was they would rotate it a bit, and sometimes I know he kept coming from deep and was doing that really well, but sometimes you'd find Lingard was the furthest up, or so of that front three. So,
which makes it incredibly difficult, of course, to defend against. I mean, if you're playing against a traditional striker, it's a lot easier to pick your man up when it's flexible like that. It's incredibly difficult whether you're playing 2, 3, 4, or 5 at the back, really.
And you've got how can I put this politely? it's an uncomplicated defence, shall we say, Sheffield United. Not exactly sort of blessed with footballing intelligence. Just looking at the way they played tonight, it's they're more your sort of traditional players at the back, and you ask any, you were a defender, and from what I saw anyway, and you'd rather have some big lumbering ox to mark than somebody who's a little bit tricky, a little bit cleverer, and knew what they were doing. I mean, conversely, I was a forward, and I used to love playing against defenders like Sheffield United, like that, because you always had something on them. Whereas a clever, intelligent footballing centre half or central defender, it was always a tougher game. So, so when you had that, you got we had Lanzini, we had Lingard, and you had Bowen. Neither of whom are particularly tall. I've got a photo of Lanzini next to Jeff, and it was like a school kid next to Jeff, and my little brother ain't all that tall. When you've got those where they're tricky, their movements constant, and you never know which one you've got to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
Then that's the sort of defence that's got to work against.
Okay. Good stuff. Another. They're all leaping to praise West Ham tonight, or the celebrities and former stars. Another East End legend of a different persuasion completely, Billy Bragg, who I must confess I don't see him post that often on Football Matters, but even the Bard of Barking is posting tonight that says, amazing though it is that the Hammers are fourth in the Premiership. It's the Premier League now, Bill. It hasn't been the Premiership for about 14 years. But anyway, it's the fact that we now have more than 40 points, making us safe from relegation, that's got me celebrating tonight. No nail-biting finish this year. Come on, you Irons. So there it is. Even the great, as I say, the Bard of Barking, Billy Bragg, celebrating another great Hammers performance. Rio, I want to go back briefly to something that Pinky pointed out a little while ago, which is a really interesting point, I felt. Now, you and I will remember many, many years ago that Liverpool famously won the league championship with a squad of only 14 first-team players. And Pinky mentioned that perhaps that small squad is helping West Ham, the fact that we haven't got a plethora of options, sort of 4 or 5 different striking options, and Rice and Souček haven't really got much of a backup. What do you make of that? Do you go along with that? Do you think there's something in that the fact that everyone's getting an opportunity to play is helping the squad bond and gel?
Certainly off the pitch. I mean, I think the smaller nucleus of players you have got in and around the first team squad, you develop that trust, don't you? You develop that camaraderie. You're all in it together. And particularly when we're battling against the odds of not being funded to the extent that we should be by our chairman, You've got no disruptive influences coming from outside. That's another thing I mentioned about Lingard when we first signed him on loan. He's had his personal issues up in Manchester.
Yeah.
And I thought, would he come in? Will those come to the fore? Will he disrupt our unit as it was? But he looks pretty well integrated. I mean, there was that little discussion over the penalty earlier on, but the first person who went up and congratulated Declan after he scored it was Jesse Lingard. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, definitely a small, tight-knit unit as a squad, I think can only be a good thing. I mean, we saw it 85, 86. We didn't use a whole lot of players, but I think that was 15, 16 tops.
Yep.
And look how well we did there. We just need the augmentation in the summer. We know we could do with another forward or two at the moment, but we're making do. The players who've been asked to play in different positions, as we saw tonight, there was a rotating plethora of Lanzini, Bowen and Lingard, all doing that kind of the central role at times and dropping into space and running in behind defences.
Yeah.
So we're doing well. We're making do what we've got, and we're exploiting their talents to the best of our ability with such a tight squad. And I think it's not only the small amount of players that's still in their favour. I think the fact that we've got a really good coaching set up And they've obviously instilled not only a fitness regime, which has seen us take on new levels compared to what we were 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we was probably on the fittest side in the Premier League.
Yeah.
But they've got that unity. They're installing the belief without excelling expectations from anybody. They're playing us down, but they know what we're capable of, what we can springboard to in the future. So having this tight-knit squad, a coaching staff who's proven themselves to be one of probably the biggest assets we've got. No, it all bodes well, doesn't it? And it's just where we springboard from in the summer, and where the way our ownership sees us progressing in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Rio. Just a quick word from Stamford Bridge. It's currently Chelsea 0, Newcastle United 0. 25 minutes gone. Chelsea have, however, lost Tammy Abrahams to injury, being replaced after about 20 minutes. I think Gnome's got Chris Wilder on the goggle box. Maybe now is it?
Yeah.
Wilder? Okay.
Yeah, he's the air of a haunted man. He said people will probably think I'm crackers, but I thought we could get a result here. Yeah. I'm smiling. But he used the phrase architects of their own downfall quite a lot.
Nice.
Something that I noticed, and something that you get with a relegated team, is that when they did have the ball in good positions, something I noticed during the game, particularly second half, there was always an extra touch. Nobody wanted to, hit a ball first time. There was one shot they had which went way over and wide. The first time shot would have been the way to go for that. And every time there was one extra pass, one extra, sort of touch of the ball that. And he was bemoaning that fact that they weren't playing with the freedom to do that sort of thing. And he said, obviously, West Ham, they've got a quality bunch of players there. They'll punish you if you don't do you don't put away what chances you get. And no complaints on the penalty. He didn't go into specifics about the lad Egan, but he said it doesn't look too good. Obviously, he came off on the stretcher. He's on crutches at the moment,
Right.
Any
word as to what the specific injury was there?
No. If I were a betting man, like Pinky mentioned, I'd say possibly Achilles. It's something you can diagnose on the spot. What happens is the back of your calf, there's a dip, goes in where your Achilles is broken, and it's like somebody scooped a chunk out of your leg, sort of thing. But not mine though, because mine's now held together with Kevlar and some other stuff they used on the space shuttle or something. But I'm the £6.50 man.
There you go. Cheap at half the price.
Yeah,
but
£8 grand. £8 grand that lot cost Bupa.
Outrageous. Well, as long as it's not costing us, I don't mind.
Yeah.
Just I want to come on to actually it sort of ties in with what Gnome was saying there. Actually, Pinky, I want to talk a bit now about our defence, because Soufal, magnificent. Aaron Cresswell, completely rejuvenated. Written off at the start of the season, been fantastic. Craig Dawson, just absolutely unbelievable. I don't think anyone could have possibly predicted what would happen there. We were all, I think we're all happy to admit we were quite wrong about that particular signing. Coming into the team tonight, and I know you're not his greatest fan, Issa Diop. How did you think he did tonight, and how did you think the defence fared overall? Because we did have that sort of little sticky spell, didn't we, at the start of the second half? I think it was McGoldrick who got between the two defenders, had the free header, should have done better when it was 1-0, I think, at the time. Could have changed the complexion of the game. But yeah, what's your overall view on West Ham from a defensive aspect tonight?
I thought we were poor. Two things. Firstly, if you stop the cross coming in, then there's no header to defend, and we didn't stop enough crosses coming in tonight, in my view.
Yeah.
So that's a problem at either full back or people not tracking runners generally. And I always think that the centre backs, you know, it's about pairings. Always has been, always will be. And I think when we've looked rock solid this season, it's been the pairing of Ogbonna and Dawson. I think they've built up a good relationship between the pair of them, and it works. Tonight we've seen Diop start again.
Yep.
Yes, I'm harsh on him because, you know, we paid top dollar for Issa Diop, and for that money you expect something approaching the finished article, not a work in progress and not an apprentice. But that's exactly what we've got. We've got an apprentice really, for 22 million. If I could see a way forward for him at our club, I think, well, okay, yeah, maybe there's some long-term planning there. But what's really done it for Issa Diop is the contrast with Craig Dawson, who for 2 pickled eggs and a bag of crisps joined us from Watford. You know, the fag end of a fairly decent but ordinary footballing career. I mean, I saw an interview this week with somebody that, you know, describes his early days at Rochdale and all the rest of it. And I think he used to play for a club where Bernard Manning was the chairman. Yeah, I kid you not. And you know, the most quoted comment in the whole article was Craig was as tight as anything. You know, he'd wash his own car rather than get the kids to wash it in the car wash, that sort of thing. You know, so like a real sort of like Yorkshire sort of attitude to his finances. But I just feel that Diop, the contrast with Dawson is such that if you're a football manager, you're looking, what do you want your centre backs to do? Yes, scoring goals at one end is nice, but actually you want to stop them going in at your end. That's the real job. That's the real job. And I just think we look better with an Ogbonna Dawson pairing than we do with a Diop and anyone pairing. And I've been saying it since the summer. He's a player that I would trade, that's for sure. But the problem being, of course, Ogbonna is 33. Dawson isn't our player, and he won't be cheap when we go to buy him now, because, you know, Watford will just say, 31-year-old Craig Dawson, 20 million pounds, please. Whereas if we'd offered them 5 million quid last summer, we'd have him on a 3 or 4 year contract now. And again, this is another one where borrowing a player doesn't always bear dividends. So defensively, I don't think we were good tonight. I actually don't think we were good full stop tonight. You know, and you say, bloody hell, we've won 3-0 and I'm not happy. Well, yeah, we've beaten a relegated team 3-0. And no, I'm not happy. I don't think we were all that tonight. And I think better teams would not have presented us with 3 points this evening. And over the next month, we are going to be playing better teams than Sheffield United. And we're going to be playing them without Issa Diop. That's for sure. Yeah. We're likely to be playing 1 or 2 of them without Mikel Antonio. Yeah. So there are certain cracks in our squad that the manager's done brilliantly to paper over, but you can't actually fool everyone forever. And you know, we might just be have seen peak West Ham this evening, you know, in terms of league performance, which would be a great shame. But you know, 4 games coming up, how many points are we really going to get from them? And I think there's no chance of that defensive lineup this evening keeping clean sheets against Tottenham Hotspur, Manchester United, Manchester City, or even Leeds United. You know, we're going to see goals if we defend like that.
Well, we'll come to that in just a minute. Before we wrap up, we'll look ahead to the forthcoming games. Interestingly, you mentioned Bernard Manning there, and I think it was actually Bernard Manning who brought Dawson to Rochdale in the first place. There was an article on the Athletic this week where Craig was talking to Adam Leventhal, and He said that Bernard actually came into the pub one night and asked him, why don't you come and train with my team? And that's how his professional career began at Rochdale. So there you go. Bernard Manning.
I've just got this view of a Bernard Manning side taking the knee before the game and just wondering how that would pan out. But,
yes.
Bernard Manning. Yeah.
Well, you're not suggesting they'd have gone full Brentford, would you? You know,
yeah, I would say Brentford have decided to stop doing it, haven't they? So
yeah.
No doubt others.
And I think we'll see a few more teams issuing similar statements in the coming weeks. So yeah, interesting development that coming from West London, that's for sure.
I'm just glad when I was playing that they didn't have this sort of thing, because I'd never been able to get back up again. The game would be going on. I guess a hand here somewhere.
Yes, was injured taking the knee. Yes,
yeah, that would be a new one, wouldn't it?
That would be wheelchair, wouldn't it?
Well, you can guarantee it'll be one West Ham player, wouldn't you? Experiencing that one. But news.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just going to say news coming in from West London. West Ham were fourth in the Premier League's live table last we spoke, but unfortunately that only lasted for about 20 minutes this evening, because in the live league table, Chelsea have now gone above West Ham because they lead Newcastle 1-0 at Stamford Bridge. Of course, that can all change, and there's plenty of time left. But as it stands in the live league table, West Ham back down to fifth place in the Premier League, still above Liverpool, still above Arsenal and Tottenham and all those other Everton, all those other clubs that traditionally challenge for the top four. Gnome, the defence. Pinky's just spoken very eloquently about Issa Diop and Craig Dawson and the rest, and saying he didn't feel we defended particularly well tonight, but we didn't really need to, did we? But you sort of, are you kind of worried if Angelo Ogbonna doesn't come back that there could be trouble ahead, as the song says?
I think we've got another. It's been suggested a month. Was the last I saw, but I'm busy working today, so I haven't been maybe as up to date or on top of that as I might otherwise have been.
Yeah.
You'd certainly want him back sooner rather than later. I think saying defence didn't play well is slightly over-egging it a little bit. They did as well as they had to. There were a number of occasions where the much maligned Diop, I thought, did very well. A couple of occasions where they tried to play it quickly, and where Diop started off the wrong side and got himself the right side.
Yeah,
and blocked off. He did it a couple of times with Sharp. You thought, oh, Sharp's got a yard on him here, and suddenly Diop's got himself between Sharp and the ball. And Sharp ends up kicking him up in the air, and free kick was well done there. So, but yeah, I mean, I can see we'd have to stop those crosses coming in against sort of better teams of Sheffield United, of which there are many, at least 19. So, I think that's gone in. That's Chelsea 2, Newcastle 0 now. As we speak, Giroud got the first. I think Werner's actually got one. He should have put him 2-0 up a few minutes ago. I think it was over the first time. The keeper tried to scramble it back, but when it came out, it went back in. So, I think I'll see us. I think we're gonna end up fully in fifth tonight. It's well over. The cleanest of finishes,
but what about Craig Dawson? Let's talk a bit about Dawson. He's a biggest surprise of the season, surely. It must be. Is Dawson's performances.
Very much so. It makes you wonder sort of what was happening in terms of how things were looking in training, because I can't remember what game it was now, but he suddenly turned up, didn't he? So we'd had him all season, and we'd all just thought, well, his era's back up for. You've got Ogbonna, you've got Balbuena, you've got Diop, and Cresswell playing in the middle of on the left of a three, perhaps. And we said something along the lines of, I said it's the lesser spotted Craig Dawson. And I think it was the Southampton game, was it, his first one?
Yeah, may well have been. Yeah.
Because he nearly removed somebody's head, didn't he? in it, which was but apart from that one sort of thing where head ball, easy mistake to make. We thought we had a good game there, and then it's just got better and better. I think it got to the stage. There was one half of the game. Again, I can't remember which one, where I noted that he was having a bit of a poor one. He wasn't controlling it well. It was bouncing off him, and thought, what's happening now? Is this a sort of a revert to type moment? But he came out second half and had a stormer. So he obviously realised he hadn't been at his best, and sort of like slapped himself around the face and concentrate, mate, and he did. I mean, it's been a fantastic signing.
Do you agree? Do you agree with Don Hutchison that he's one of the signings of the season? Full stop.
Yeah,
in terms of value, anyway.
In terms of value, yeah. Well, as I say, in terms of anything, I'm given to believe that, notwithstanding Pinky's sort of joking, Watford want 20 million for him line. I understand it would be more akin to 4 if we want him at the end of the season. And whether or not that's part of the deal, I don't know. But just stuff you pick up here and there suggests that a £4 million fee would be sort of due. So we wait and see how true that is. But for £4 million, I mean, I suddenly feel very old at this point, because I'm thinking, we're bandying around figures like 4 million, like it's nothing, which in relative terms it isn't. It's still £4 million when you think about it.
Yeah. But I mean, if you
tell you have 4 million, you wouldn't say, "Oh, it's not 20."
But I mean, if you look at the whole of that defence tonight, I mean, you've got Aaron Cresswell, who cost 3 or 4 million from the Championship. You've got Ogbonna, who was 8 million. Dawson, a loanee. Soufal, 5 million. I mean, David Sullivan's a genius, isn't he? Picking these players out of nowhere.
It's been called a lot of things. Genius hasn't been sort of.
That's a devil's advocate hat, by the way. Before you start.
I can see that. I don't know who's been available for that. I'd be somebody wants to prove me wrong, but I'd say that that the person who went out and looked at Souček and looked at Soufal wasn't David Sullivan. And you've had to leave Essex for a kickoff. I no doubt he'd be happy to take the credit for it. But there's been a good shot. If he is going to take the credit for him, he's also got to be held responsible for some of the complete turkeys that we've had since he's arrived. And I mean, there's that article did the rounds a few weeks back about, was it 50 strikers or something at West Ham?
Yeah, but see, I mean, I've seen that, but most of those players were punts who never got out of the academy team, or were only ever reserve players like Brian Montenegro. So
yeah,
I kind of
hang on. I saw him play against Sheffield Wednesday, so let's not mock Brian Montenegro. Yeah,
but a lot of them weren't. A lot of them were players who were supposedly first team ready. Every 50, but a lot of them weren't. So you're just getting me back to the days when, just getting me back to the days when we had Pardew and Grant there. And so, do you remember they took a punt on a Czech guy, Michelanda?
Yes,
Michelanda.
Yeah.
The most telling thing that was ever said about him was that we were at some fans forum or whatever it was, and Pardew and Grant were there, and somebody asked about Michelanda because nobody had heard of him, and they'd seen him on pre-season tour and signed him up on the street for that. And Pardew had said, well, he's young, he's raw, but there's a lot of potential, and he's young and he's keen. And Peter Grant chipped in, he's cheap. and you suddenly thought, I think that's probably the phrase that paid when it came to that signing. And you got the impression with a lot of that, 50 maybe, a lot of those were fringe, but a lot of them were, they were doing
some players like that, and there was a lot of cheap punts for sure. For sure. Rio, did you want to comment on that? Sorry, you were waiting to come in there.
Sorry,
the old 50 striker thing. I think that was the last count. I think that was about 2 or 3 years ago. So we're probably up to about 60 now. But also, look how many we've got on the books at the moment. And over the space of 10 years of the GSB reign, we've gone through 6 a season, and we're left with none. So that's the most telling stat for me. You can say most of them were punts and they weren't there like seriously. You can't recount them, but Dawson's a punt. We're counting him, aren't we? So every one of them strikers we've had, and I'm sure it's up to around about the 60 mark now, was a viable candidate to be a first-team player in some respects.
Yeah,
there was bought to be part of our squad, part of our first team, in and around that. Maybe not the starting 11. There was all bought to do a job. The fact that 59 of them haven't come off, that's irrelevant.
Yeah, we've definitely had some massive punts at the club over the years. That's for sure. In recent years, Rio, I just quickly. Let's wrap up this defensive debate. What did you make of Diop's performance tonight? Obviously, he's as I said, he's got big shoes to fill with Angelo Ogbonna, as Gnome rightly pointed out, sideline we expect for another 3 or 4 weeks. Do you think Diop's capable of stepping in and solving that conundrum for Moyes?
Yeah, I've defended him. We saw that first season how good he can be. He's lost his way completely. Tonight would have done him in a world of good. He started off particularly shaky, but he grew into the game. He got better and better. He notched the goal, which would have done his confidence the world of good. Yeah. He's got a very experienced centre-half partner next to him, who hopefully will be able to talk him through, guide him through games. Because I think Balbuena did that in the first season. He was naturally right-sided. Issa was naturally left-sided. And as a partnership, they work really well. And Balbuena, being the more experienced of the two, managed to guide him through games. And we looked pretty solid that first season. God knows what's gone on with him. But hopefully Craig Dawson can get in his ear, talk him through games, cajole him, guide him. And with the defensive now on the bench in terms of our coaching staff, you'd hope Stuart Pearce would be able to enforce those kind of the resolution needed and the mentality needed. Moyes himself, it's going to be a tough ask. We've got a high calibre of forward we've come up in the next 3 or 4 games.
Yeah.
There's no one better to do it at the moment on the books.
Apologies, Rio. I wasn't laughing at what you were saying. It was Pinky nodding his, shaking his head most aggressively next to me that had me chuckling when you were talking about the potential for Diop stepping up. Pinky, you're still not having it then?
I mean, for any youngsters watching, what you've just heard are the ramblings of a madman that has avocado for breakfast. Okay. utter nonsense. Talk about the triumph of hope over experience. You've just heard it. My breakfast: Mars bars, kebabs. Last night's curry. Bits of KFC. That's a proper breakfast. And when you have a proper breakfast, you know that the standard was the great Alvin Martin. So when you're judging centre backs, in your mind's eye, that's the player you're looking at. Tell me when Issa Diop is ever going to be within a country mile of that standard. And the answer is he isn't. And it doesn't matter how much we want him to be of that standard, it's not going to happen for him. And sometimes I just feel as supporters, we are far too generous to players that we either paid a fee for or who are quite young, who we think, yeah, he's going to do it, he's going to do it. I just don't think he is. And yeah, Rio, one of us will be right and one of us will be wrong. Yeah. But you have avocado for breakfast, my friend. And I know which way Paddy Power's going to be paying out. And it ain't on you being right on this one. Okay. Diop ain't making it. And I'm sorry for the young man. He got the goal tonight. I'm very pleased for that.
Yeah.
Decision making isn't good enough for a defender in this division. And for my money, trade him.
Yeah, I completely get that. And I agree more or less 100%. I get accused of being negative. I mean, I thought we was going to lose tonight. So there's me looking on the bright side, praying that Issa hits a bit of form and fulfills the potential rather than the actual what he is at the moment. I've got my doubts as well. It's the hope that kills us, isn't it? As for the reaching the heights of Alvin Martin, we've all watched how good he was. We'll never see someone as good as him again, I don't think. It's going to take a long while before someone comes through like that.
This is my point, Rio. As supporters, we should be demanding we see that standard. Demanding the chairman says to the manager and the scouting network, such as it is, find me a player of that caliber. Find me a player who, if he makes one mistake every 3 seasons, then he's in a poor run of form. Because in this league, if you want to be serious about challenging in the top half, you need players that won't make mistakes in the middle of your back line. And you see the money that Manchester City splashed on John Stones. As soon as he had a bad run of form, he was out of that team because he wasn't good enough to stay in it. And until he started reproving himself that he could do it, Guardiola wasn't picking him. I'm afraid maybe as supporters, we give too many of our players a free pass. And it's a fine line between slagging them off, i.e. not supporting them, and accepting below par performances. And what I'm saying is we shouldn't accept below par performances. Sheffield United tonight, and they had 2, 3 free headers 8 yards from goal. Shouldn't be happening. Shouldn't be happening.
Okay. Gnome, did you want to comment on that briefly before we move on?
Just wanted to use a phrase that Pinky used earlier on there for the benefit of younger viewers. I would point out that whatever the rights and wrongs of Pinky's and Rio's arguments, I really can't advocate people going and having KFC for breakfast every morning. It's simply not healthy enough for you.
And there, there's the most salient point of the evening, folks.
Yeah. just as a health point there, sort of thing. So,
Thank you for that. And we of course do take your health on this channel most seriously, folks. So cut out the KFC for breakfast and stick with the avocado. Rio's doing the right thing there. We're going to wrap up.
Last night's curry.
Yes, yeah. Oh gosh, made me feel hungry now. We are going to wrap up tonight.
There should be a company that actually markets last night's curries to deliver it to you for breakfast. So you don't have to go and order it the night before and leave it.
Oh, God. Well, I'd imagine there's plenty of Chinese takeaways that would be quite happy to do that, or Indians. But anyway, that's just my experience locally.
I think this COVID judge getting to my brain now. So,
well, we're going to wrap up fairly shortly, so we won't be demanding too much more of you, Gnome. We know you're struggling a bit under the heavy drugs you've consumed there today, and we'll wrap up fairly quick. But anyway, before we do that, I want to take a look ahead to our next match and what a game this could be. We are pretty much now, I think, back to one game a week after this recent flurry of games every 3 or 4 days. And it is therefore another 6 days before we play again. And of course, it's the big one this Sunday afternoon at the London Olympic Stadium once again. The corresponding fixture earlier this season finished 3-3 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and it's the Spurs who come to Stratford once again next weekend looking for 3 points. It's a really enticing prospect, this one. Pinky, you looking forward to the game? And you know, what are you thinking? I mean, is this one of those where it's a test of this will show just how good West Ham are now?
What I'm thinking is jolly fortunate for Jose Mourinho that Tottenham Hotspur are skin. Because, do you know what? We beat them next Sunday. By this time next week, were they not skin, he could be out of work and they could be looking for a manager. I mean, there's a lot of discontent over at the new White Hart Lane from, should we say, some of the more traditional supporters who aren't particularly enamoured with the football they're watching. Yeah. They're certainly not very happy with some of the results. And they do seem to be getting this reputation of a team that no cane, no points. And Mourinho, I think there's a little bit of a battle there between him and the chairman, whereby the chairman has probably made it perfectly clear there isn't all that much money to spend. Mm-hmm. Mourinho, perhaps going along with the, yeah, I've heard all that from every other chairman routine. But actually, we all know at the Lane who's in charge. There was no ambiguity. And it isn't the man in the dugout, it's the man in the boardroom. Mm-hmm. And I think we've got a great opportunity to put an absolute dagger through the heart of Tottenham Hotspur next week. I think their season is pretty much over as it is, but we can kill it stone dead with a win next week. And I think, you know what, could be 2 reasonably evenly matched teams. Both have got injury issues. Both have got their problems, but one team is full of confidence at the minute and the other team is full of dread. They don't look like they want to be on the pitch. And so, yeah, looking forward to it. I don't think it'll be a walkover for us or them. I think it'll be a close-fought game, probably not a classic of the genre. But just imagine 3 points there, and we are pretty certain to finish above Tottenham this season. And if you could say how good a job has David Moyes done, that's a heck of a turnaround, isn't it? So yeah, looking forward to that one.
Okay, good stuff. Gnome, Tottenham 4 defeats in their last 5 Premier League games. I mean, could there be a better time to play them than right now?
I wasn't aware of that because I don't really I've not really been following them other than when they lose, I just sort of smile and then I forgot it 20 minutes later. But don't know. You got to play them. You got to play them whenever. Excuse me. I just think that I'm looking forward to it. Just really because they're fans who bless them, aren't the sharpest tools in the book, and they just make me laugh. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a good time to play them from our point of view. Yeah. Just looking completely at us because we're on a good roll, and you know we're getting to that stage and introducing football cliche 967. It's a mark of a decent side that when they're not playing well, they still get a win. And we didn't play that great tonight, but we still got a win, 3-0. You know, okay, Sheffield United, but. Spurs are a bit better than Sheffield United, but then I've played for teams that are a bit better than Sheffield United at the moment, so that's no great thing to be boastful of. So yeah, looking forward to it. I mean, whatever happens, it's just one of those things where you know, whatever the result, we'll still end up laughing at them.
It's kind of funny actually because I exposed. My son to the I'm sure you've all seen it, the Spurs fans in the park doing the you just got caned thing, and I don't think he stopped laughing since. And my son's only 12 years old, so Yeah, it's and of course there's the two guys who we're talking about Spurs being potential title candidates when we played them earlier in the season, of course, and it was 3-0. And then there's the sort of shocked into stunned silence by the end of it. And of course, they were at it again at the last week against Everton, weren't they? Following their comeback, and they thought they were back.
What was the comment at the end of our game? I said, well, there's the title gone. Like, yeah, what? You really thought you were in with a shout of it? Really? No, come on. Yeah, there's just so much to sort of be amused by. The fact that when they signed Bale on loan, it was, this is what we need to push forward for the title. And tell us how that went then. And
it's kind of ironic, really, when you think that was their view of Bale, and at the same time we were kind of a little bit down in the dumps, I think, because we just signed Craig Dawson from Watford, and who's turned out to be the better player. The most effective. Incredible, really, isn't it? But Rio, we go into the game.
Funny old word.
Yeah, it's certainly is. Rio, we go into the game 6 points ahead of Tottenham. Could be 9 points clear of them by this time on Sunday. That'd be something else, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. Before I carry on, did you buy that bleep machine? Because,
well, I haven't, but I did. There was I had a reason to insert a bleep into. Now, when was it? What was the? It was Gnome. Gnome said something rather naughty the other night. It was the penalty. Of course, Mike Dean. How could I forget? Yes, it wasn't there. Well, I can't say the words, but let's just say it wouldn't have got you banned from KUMB, but it was enough to perhaps annoy YouTube's.
Okay, I'll be a bit more composed and thoughtful about my response now.
Shocked.
Of all the people on this thing, I'm the one who got bleeped somewhere.
I know. Check back and watch it. Yeah,
the one who swears least out of any of us.
I don't know about that. It's a terrible thing to say.
I mean, I really can't think of what I might have said.
No. Well, it was a 4-letter word, but not one of the worst ones. Let's leave it at that. Rio, you feel your boots, my friend.
Yeah, no, I've got to compose myself and not overstep the mark now. Now we have it. It's not in play. Yeah, well, we all know what it means to them, don't we?
Nothing. It doesn't mean anything to them. Come on, Rio. You know this by now.
We all know whose cup final it really is. We all know when the chips are down and things don't go quite well in these particular fixtures, which fans man up and face up on social media and discuss the game, be theoretical and realistic about what happened in the game. We know those who disappear for weeks on end, never to be seen again. The reason I hate Tottenham, right? It's nothing to do with football. It's the delusions of grandeur. It's the whole attitude. It's the whole superiority complex, which they've got no right to have. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Sunday. If we lose, I'll be magnanimous about it, as I always am. But if we win, given the comments made by certain factions of their support earlier in the season, I think I'll be coming up with both barrels. I might even be getting someone else's barrels and firing them at them as well. I detest that lot. I absolutely detest that lot. I've said before, I hate every other club in the country. Sometimes I hate our own, my own. These lot have got a little special place in the blackest part of my heart, which will never, ever disappear. And I just really hope we can turn the screw, We know what Levy's tried to build over the last few years, and to be fair, when they are on form of firing, they've got some marvellous players. They play marvellous football. I hate to say it, but sometimes they can be an absolute joy to watch, which just makes the come down and the fallout and the slide into obscurity even more the sweeter. So, come on, West Ham. Come on now, little tight-knit group of misfits, free transfers, cast-offs and wannabes. Just do it for us, please. Just this once.
I think you've been very harsh on Tottenham, Rio. I mean, show some respect. That they won the league as recently as 60 years ago. You know, I mean, greatness doesn't just fade. 60 years since they won the league, and you know what? They still go on about it. And Rio is bob on. It's delusions of grandeur. Honestly, 30 years since they won the FA Cup. And season after season you hear, oh, there's a one in the year, we're gonna win. Oh, shut up. And yeah. Nah. I enjoy a win against them. I personally haven't got a particular axe to grind with them other than, all fur coat and no knickers, really, aren't they? I mean, they're nothing like the club they think they are. It's a long time since they were ever truly a so-called big club. And I don't see them getting back there anytime soon, because I think that stadium that they have spent £1 billion on, that currently sits empty every Saturday afternoon, and for which they've had to go to the government and borrow in excess of £100 million, is going to prove to be a bit of a millstone around their neck in years to come. And I think they've not only been a selling club in recent years, I think they're going to be a super selling club. And dare I say it, the bad news for West Ham United is they might be sniffing around some of the bargain basement players that we're normally linked with. I think the glory days, which are many years ago for Tottenham, are many years from ever happening again. I think they missed the boat a couple of seasons ago, and I think the money is running out there now, quite dramatically. Just a view.
Okay, for my input, I just enjoy beating Tottenham because it's always produces my favourite opposition view of the year, because you just know you're going to get some fantastic comments from their supporters every time that West Ham beat. But there you go. We shall see. That is, of course, coming up this weekend on Sunday. West Ham United in 4th place as things stand in the Premier League against Tottenham in 9th place in the Premier League as things stand. Could be 5th. Yeah, we'll forget the live league table because it doesn't benefit us right now. But yeah, probably going to be 5th by the end of the night. But anyway, 4th as things stand. That's due to a fantastic 3-0 win against Sheffield United, another team we enjoy beating. Goals coming from Declan Rice in the 41st minute, from Diop in the 58th minute, and then Ryan Fredericks, the substitute, who was on the pitch for barely 3 minutes, added a little bit of icing to the cake with a 3rd goal for the Hammers to make the scoreline look just as comprehensive as it probably was, actually, in terms of how the game went. But that is it from myself and the team tonight. The blades have been firmly put to the sword. Chris Wilder said they were the architects of their own downfall. Either way, the Hammers are absolutely roaring and flying at the top of the Premier League. As we said, 42 points from 24 games up into 4th. My thanks to the Pink Palermo, to Rio, and to Gnome. As always, fantastic fun tonight. Really enjoyed the stream. And thank you, of course, as always, to those of you who joined us throughout the evening. Thank you for your comments. We've enjoyed reading them and getting you involved. That's it. That's it for tonight, my friends. We are back, as I said, Sunday, West Ham United against Tottenham, the next big London derby. And we hope by the end of the night, it's us singing, "You just got caned." We'll see. We'll see what happens. Until then, come on, you irons.
On your irons.
We did it to Yorkshire.